Calgary, Alberta, final signpost remaining on the road to the Grey Cup, site for a showdown between the top two teams in the regular season, the 12-6 Lions and 15-2-1 Stampeders, for a trip to the Grey Cup final.
After 51 starts in the regular season, Bo Levi Mitchell has the best winning percentage in CFL history. His record this year, 15-1-1, which is why he's the Western finalist for most outstanding player. At 24 years old, Jonathan Jennings became one of just 4 quarterbacks in Lions history to throw for over 5,000 yards in a season. Last week, he recorded his first playoff win as a starter. Can he make it 2 in a row and pull off the upset here in Calgary?
Wally Buono's Lions staged the biggest playoff comeback since 1960 last week. He's won 5 cups as a head coach, 3 with Calgary, the last 2 with BC. Dave Dickinson, Western nominee for Coach of the Year after one of the best regular seasons in history. They were 9-0 at home. Stamps dropped their season finale in Montreal. They have not lost 2 straight in 58 games. West final underway, and Roy Finch with the football at the Calgary 7, and he bounces off contact and all the way across the 50-yard line, and that will stoke the Stamps early. A 47-yard kick returned by Finch.
Lots of talk this year about the return abilities of Chris Rennie for the BC Lions. Not much discussion on what Roy Finch can do, and he gets things started early for the Calgary Stampeders.
Number 4 in all-purpose yards in the Canadian Football League, so great field position for Bo Levi Mitchell, a injured BC Lion down on the field. And that's Chandler Fenner, who is one of the starting defensive halfbacks for the Lions. So already BC's defense will have to face an adjustment in the secondary. There's Bo Levi Mitchell, second in the league in passing yardage, 5,385 yards. The MOP candidate from the West, 15-1-1 on the year.
Led the league in touchdown passes with 32 to just 8 interceptions. Let's take a look at what happened to Chandler Fenner, who will now have to go out for at least 3 plays as he regroups. Roy Finch, a good return. He ducks his head on the tackle. Took the worst of it, and Finch kept going.
So Keenan Parker will come and play the corner. Anthony Geeter, the corner, moves inside the Fenner spot. And the Stampeders start first down at their 53. Empty it out, 6 receivers. Mitchell over the middle and has a connection. Bakari Grant has a Calgary first down at the BC 40.
A lot of questions directed towards the Calgary Stampeders and Bo Levi Mitchell as to whether or not this team would have some rust after not playing for 41 days since wrapping up the division. And that ball shows you that it doesn't look like it. Right on the money for Mitchell in a small window.
17-yard play, first down. Just inside the Lion 40-yard line. Leading rusher in the league, Jerome Messon, off the left side, crashing down around the 35-yard line, and they'll mark it at the 34, pickup of 7.
Leading receiver for Calgary is Marquay McDaniel. There's Jerome Messon, who led the league in rushing this season. Marquay McDaniel missed the last 2 games of the regular season. He is back. He's that leader when it comes to those second down conversion catches. Their nominee for outstanding lineman, Derek Dennis, at left tackle.
Call it 2nd and 3.5. Mitchell looks one way, goes the other, wants McDaniel, and draws a flag. Pass interference, the call on Brandon Stewart in coverage against the second down conversion target, Marquay McDaniel.
Yeah, no question here. You see that Brandon Stewart in this isolation is going to just grab Marquay McDaniel well before the ball is there and pull on his shoulder.
BC number 9, point of foul, automatic, first down.
You see the left hand all over the back and shoulder of McDaniel.
So it's first and goal. 30-yard penalty. Ball at the 3. Lamar Durant, Vancouver area product, checks into the Calgary offense. They don't look rusty.
No, they don't.
First down, it is Durant, left side, touchdown. Kick from Port Coquitlam, hits pay dirt first.
Dave Dickinson's going to go for 2. Lamar Durant lines up in the backfield, almost split backs with Jerome Messam, and then he takes that wide sweep, untouched to the end zone. Calgary Stampeders get on the scoreboard first.
Haven't played a meaningful game in 41 days, but they are out of the gate in a hurry. 4 plays, 57 yards after the big return by Roy Finch. 12 for 21 in 2-point attempts this year. Trying to go up by 8. Fake to Messam inside, and it is 2 as Kamar Jordan has the catch. The Stamps at 88 are out of the gate. Lamar Durant the touchdown. 2 points for Jordan and an 8-point Calgary lead early in the Western Final. Well, now that didn't take long. 2 minutes, 33 seconds, and Lamar Durant with the touchdown. 2 points on the Kamar Jordan convert. Now BC gets its first touch of the game, and the ever-dangerous Chris Rainey has it. He has torched the Stampeders, but not on this return. Limited to the 30-yard line. Glenn Love the tackle.
Markway McDaniel contributing in a lot of different ways. He's going to come from this side of your screen and end up getting a block on Adam Bighill that gets Lamar Durant the corner right here. Bighill gets cut off by number 16. He's lost in the pursuit, but makes a key block, and then the 2-point convert. Pinpoint perfect pass from Bo Levi Mitchell, showing no rust in that first drive.
So Mitchell admires his work. Jonathan Jennings goes to work, over 500 yards of offense against Winnipeg last week. He rolls out, throws to the wide side. Sinkfield with the catch, and momentum takes him out at the 38. Will set this BC offense for you.
I mentioned off the top, Jonathan Jennings, one of just 4 Lion quarterbacks over 5,000 yards passing. A lot of question on Manny Arsenault whether or not he could play. He passed the concussion protocols, got a bit of an ankle. We'll watch him this afternoon. Their outstanding lineman nominee, Javon Olafiore, left tackle.
Last week against the Bombers, BC converted 19 of 25 second down conversions. Second and short here, and Jeremiah Johnson off the left side has a first down. He had 110 yards rushing last week in the Western Semi.
Well, they face a Calgary Stampeder defense #1 in the regular season against the run. Just 72 yards. That's the front 4, along with the linebackers and Alex Singleton in the middle. Very tough to run on this defense. And if you want to throw, pick your poison, because this may be arguably the best secondary in the game with the 2 great corners, Savante Evans and Tommy Campbell.
Both All-Stars this year. First down Lions at their own 41. They emptied out 6 for Jennings, and a pass behind the intended target, Chris Rainey. Incomplete. And by the way, we should mention the weatherman crossing over this year, and absolutely perfect day for football here at McMahon. The temperature at 2 degrees with no wind and no snow in the forecast.
Weather will not be a factor in this game. The players will decide it on the field. First, second, and long for Jennings.
Second and 10. Jennings has time, going to load it up, looking for Iannuzzi, and he ran out of real estate, pass out of bounds, and the Lion punt team has to come on.
Marco Iannuzzi, very critical catches in that semifinal against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers late in the 4th quarter, but well covered there by Seontae Evans.
So the leading punter in the Canadian Football League, Richie Leone, on, and Roy Finch gets set. Pressure on. Leone does a good job of getting it away. High boot. Comes down at the 25. There's a no yards flag as Finch is dropped after a 45-yard punt. That'll be a 15-yard penalty against the Lions special teams. Old Levi Mitchell will have terrific field position once again as he leads the high-powered Stamps out. They lost the first game of the regular season to BC, the last game of the regular season to Montreal. In between, 14 straight wins, unbeaten in 16.
Just the one tie in week 3 against Ottawa, and there is Dave Dickinson's record. First year as a head coach, the Calgary Stampeders. Very good one. Can he finish and win this game to get to the big show?
Fake to Messam. Wide side throw. He's complete. And bumped out is Kamar Jordan. Brandon Stewart in coverage. Briefly a Stampeder.
For the BC Lions on defense, Alex Bazzi led the front 4 in sacks with 11. You go back to Solomon Elamimian, who led the CFL in tackles at 129 in the regular season. Another big game in the West semifinal. Chandler Fenner missed that first series due to injury. He's back in at halfback for the Lions in this drive.
Already feels like an important defensive series for BC. 2nd and 6 from the 45. Mitchell steps up, in some trouble, and throws incomplete. A little spinorama by the Calgary quarterback, but a 2-and-out.
First 2 games of the regular season, or first 2 games that these two teams played against each other. The first game of the regular season, and then in week 5, pressure was the reason the BC Lions won one and went to overtime in the second. They got pressure in those first 2 games, 7 sacks combined on Bo Levi Mitchell. One of the reasons they were winners in one game and lost by a field goal in overtime in the second.
Chris Rainey has 4 career kick return touchdowns against Calgary. And awaits this boot by Maver. It's going to be Iannuzzi instead at the 12. That's a 58-yard boot by Maver. And Calgary product Iannuzzi brings it back across the 20. Rob Cote, the tackle. BC Lion football when we come back to the West Final. Was a tough Western semi for star receiver Manny Arsenault. First play of the game, turned his ankle, thought he broke the ankle, continued playing on a hobbled leg, and then got knocked out on this brutal hit by Taylor Loeffler in the end zone. His day was done. To find out about his week, let's join Sarah Orlesky on the sidelines.
Well, Chris, you saw the hit, the concussion protocol. Manny Arsenault passed very early on, so that wasn't the concern this week. It was the ankle, and it was a big concern. Arsenault said that when he woke up on Monday morning, he thought his season was done. He could barely walk. I'm told that they didn't do anything extra heading into this game for it, although he's done treatment all week long. What he did say, though, is that if this is a regular season game, he would not play today.
Led the Canadian Football League in touchdown catches this year with 13. Fake to Johnson on a roll. Jennings looking downfield, and on cue, there he is, Manny Arsenault. Or did he catch it? Josh Bell arguing it, but
Josh Bell saying no. It looked like he did catch it. I was watching him on the route, and he is favoring the anchor a little bit. You can see as he goes into his break here, breaking to the outside. A little bit of a hop and limp, but comes up with it, survives contact, or does he?
It doesn't matter. Lions scrimmage quickly after that. Jeremiah Johnson with a good run forward.
That is a strategy by all teams now, and try and get the, if there's ever any question on whether it was a catch or no catch, get the offense on the line of scrimmage quickly and run the next play before Dave Dickinson had a chance to challenge.
Saw that big hit by Loeffler. Arsenault telling us yesterday, caught him right on the chin. And not that he'd know, but he assumes that's the way it would feel if he got hit by Evander Holyfield. Second and 3 near midfield. Rainey in the backfield. They're going to swing it to Rainey. Cuts it back inside. And at midfield, he only gets a yard. He's going to be a couple short. Good contain there.
Good redirect by Cordero Law, who gets the start in this playoff game in the West Final. Came in a few weeks before the end of the regular season, but was the designated import. He flew out there from the defensive end spot and corralled Chris Rainey.
Malik Harris put pressure on Leone on the last punt. Almost got there. Leone will look for the corner here with Finch back at the 10. Sails that outside the numbers. And Finch will be forced out just across the 20-yard line after a 40-yard punt by Leone.
51 starts for Bo Levi Mitchell in the regular season, and he has the best winning percentage in CFL history. Better than Moon, better than his coach Dave Dickinson, better than Doug Flutie. And he hasn't got quite to the totals as far as his starts, but 43 wins in 51 starts for Bo Levi Mitchell.
Third Calgary quarterback over 5,000 yards, joining Flutie and a guy named Burris, who I think we're going to see next week.
Congratulations to the Ottawa Redblacks.
First down, Mitchell has time. The pass deflected, it falls incomplete. Intended for the top rookie, Davaris Daniels.
Almost 1,000 yards, 885 on the season for Davaris Daniels. 400-yard games. Quickly became a target, and if you project his numbers over a full season, same as Eric Rogers. And that was the question coming in for Calgary. Who would replace Eric Rogers? They found the guy, Davaris Daniels.
2nd and 10, here comes pressure. Mitchell gets it out of his hands to Durant, and Durant is going to be held up and tossed back by Elimimian short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2.
That time it was Alex Bazzi. Again, redirecting a defensive end. Made first contact on Lamar Durant. Bazzi leads the BC Lions in sacks, but watch how he redirects here. The ball is going to go out to your right to Lamar Durant. He steps up, and then Bazzi, watch him close. 53 gets there first. Makes that first contact, and then Solomon Elimimian cleans him up.
After a hot start by the Lions, back-to-back 2-and-outs for the Calgary offense. Neighbors punt, not as deep. Again, Iannuzzi trying to get outside. And a flag comes down as he steps out around the 45-yard line. William Longley forcing him out. We'll sort out the flag when we come back. Jonathan Jennings coming off that terrific performance in the Western Semi, trying to get BC on the board. Boy, this is the best crowd I think we've seen for a Western Final at McMahon. Terrific day. Great matchup. Home team has an 8-point lead as the Lions go back to work after a holding penalty. And they'll dump it over the backfield to the big fullback, the veteran, Rolly Lumbala.
Well, the one thing that Calgary knows about the BC Lions, this team this year, is that they will not give up. Down by 19 at one point in the Western semifinal, Jonathan Jennings brought them back, completed 74% of his passes, 2 rushing touchdowns, and was 11 for 11 in the fourth quarter.
Did not score a point in the first quarter last week. Trailed 11-0 after the first quarter, down by 19, down by 12 with 7 minutes to go. There's a completion, and Arsenault's got a first down catch before he is driven back by Tommy Campbell.
BC was down by 12 with 7 minutes to go, and Jonathan Jennings went to work. 2 long drives over 70 yards and then capped it off with this 9-yard run. Little magic getting out of the pocket against Winnipeg. Beats Taylor Loeffler in the open field, dives for the touchdown. Go-ahead points.
Johnson bounced off contact, gets outside, down the rail, and he'll step out around the 40-yard line. He had a 40-yard touchdown run last week, the biggest biggest play of the season, and Johnson has 24 here.
Well, this matchup here this afternoon, the #1 rusher in the league, Jerome Messam, against the #1 rushing team in the league. With Jeremiah Johnson, the feature back here this afternoon, they have switched it off with Anthony Allen. It's Johnson.
Now it's Rainey off the left side, just watching that Johnson run as he broke tackles from Brandon Smith and Micah Johnson.
100 yards, over 100 yards rushing in the Western semifinal against Winnipeg. Jeremiah Johnson, one of the best backs in the league at making himself small in the hole, making it hard to get your arms around him and get him to the ground. Bounces that run on first down.
Adam Berger, an extra DB, checks in for Calgary on 2nd and 7 at the Stamp 38. Johnson underneath as they try and set up the screen, and Rainey couldn't hide behind the blocker, and Jagarrett Davis makes the tackle.
Jagarrett Davis going to rotate in, and at times will play with Cordero Law and Charleston Hughes, and this time he plays off the line of scrimmage in a two-point stance, and he'll just react. And for him to get Chris Rainey has made DBs look bad in the open field. He corrals him from behind.
Boy, they've been keying on Rainey. A loss of 6, which gets them out of Paul McCallum field goal range, and so Leone back in looking for a pin. 7 times inside the 10 with punts this year. They've got 1 short. And wait for Keenan Parker came on late. They'll take the time count to regroup here. Little
Time
confusion
count
on that sideline.
BC #3. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
In the Western semifinal, the BC Lions had 110 yards in penalties, some after the whistle. They've got to clean that up this afternoon. They cannot afford over 100 yards in penalties against the first-place team in the league.
45 in the first quarter already.
Yeah.
These are the 2 fewest penalized teams during the regular season. Calgary #1 and BC #2, excuse me. They're up to 60 yards now in this first quarter. Leone drives this one down inside the 5, got some backspin. Finch made the right play to hope it went in the end zone, but boy, like a good wedge, that one stuck. And Leone gets the job done.
Move, get out of my way.
The all-new 2017 Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the CFL.
What a kick by Richie Leone. Little backspin, because you're right. Roy Finch made the right call. Inside the 10, you let that ball go into the end zone and get field position. But Leone had backspin on that punt. Puts Calgary in a hole.
They'll start at their 7. Bo Levi Mitchell with 937 passing yards against BC. Messam, they were waiting for him. That's Brian Turner with the quick stop on Jerome Messam.
Those first 2 games, the BC Lions against Calgary, they did. This defense for BC controlled Jerome Messam, which not many teams can say they did this year. He had a few more yards and a better game in the 3rd game, which was a blowout win for the Calgary Stampeders. And Matt Dunnigan mentioned it in the pregame show before the Ottawa game that may be the key, controlling Jerome Messam.
16 in the first game, 45 yards in the second game, 15 for 65 in the 3rd. From his end zone, throwing complete. And the catch made by Daniels up at the 20-yard line. That gets them out of a hole.
Yeah, tough to get safety help on this route. Tavares Daniels runs what's called a dig route, which he's going to go down the field and then just come across, and Bo Levi Mitchell leads him right into the middle. Mike Edom can't jump this. It's too shallow. He's got to stay deeper than that, so Anthony Gator was on his own.
15 yards and a first down. Their first down since the opening drive. Back into the hands of Messam. Clogged up inside, but he finds has an opening, and Elimimian has to haul him down.
I mentioned the Lions, the #1 running team in the league. Jerome Messam, the leading running back, the starter for Calgary Stampeders all season long. There are your top 4 rushers in the CFL this year. Messam just ahead of Brandon Whitaker. Andrew Harris, I'm going to put an asterisk behind his season because he should have had 1,000 yards. Didn't play the last couple of series in the last regular season game against Ottawa.
Highest scoring offense against a defense that allowed the fewest yards this year. Second and about 3. They fake to Messam. And it's Anthony Parker with the catch and a first down. As he's run out by Chandler Fenner on the final play of the opening quarter. It was a quick start by the Calgary Stampeders. Big kickoff return to open the game by Roy Finch. And then Levi Mitchell, 4 plays, and a Lamar Durant touchdown that's put Calgary up 8-0 after 1 quarter. Stampeders were 13-2 when leading after the first quarter during the regular season, and 8-0 lead here.
Well, and the BC Lions proved last week that they can come back from a large deficit. So we've got a lot of football to play. Perfect night. Great crowd here in Calgary. The top 2 teams in the league record-wise. And I didn't see Rust in the first drive. 4 plays, almost 60 yards for the Calgary Stampeders. Bo Levi Mitchell, and the timing looks pretty good offensively.
Well, the Stamps won the regular season against BC. A split decision, you could call it. Couple of wins, one in overtime, a game of the year candidate, 44-41, the overtime comeback win by Calgary. Last meeting in late August was a lopsided Stampeder win, 37-9. Here's Messam again, trying to find room off the left side, and hollers his way to the 46. Ball come loose. Cote ends up with it, but I think play had been whistled down.
Well, I mentioned in that first quarter that when the BC Lions were successful winning that first game, taking it to overtime in the second game, they got pressure on Bo Levi Mitchell. You see those 7 sacks. Didn't have a sack in that final game, the blowout against Calgary. The 7 sacks, Bo Levi Mitchell, after Labor Day, had been sacked just 8 times. 7 in those 2 games against the BC Lions. They've got to get pressure on Mitchell.
Roy Finch in the backfield. They hand the ball off to him. And Finch tossed down across the 50. Should be right at the first down stick. Little burst from Roy Finch, who doesn't see much action in the offensive backfield.
Well, and you see Solomon Elimimian have to sort of redirect. He's used to a different style. That's Jerome Messam pounding, and now he goes to Finch, quicker back, and he has to get there quickly to save what could have been a big gain for Calgary.
7 carries, 24 yards for Finch in the regular season. Elimimian and Big Hill combined for 44 tackles in the 3 games against Calgary. Then again, they do that against everybody. First down, Mitchell slings it sidearm to Cote, and the fullback's got another Stampeder first down.
It's one thing with the 41-day break since when Calgary locked it up is that Dave Dickinson can put in some extra formations. They could spend the first couple of weeks just self-scouting, looking at themselves. Where can they close some loopholes, close some tendencies that BC may be scouting? And Dickinson has a couple of change-ups already. That throw to Cote and Roy Finch in the backfield. We didn't see that in the regular season.
So Finch in the backfield, 6 different receivers have already caught passes for the Stamps. 17 minutes in. Now they swing it out to Daniels. And Tavares Daniels, the Notre Dame product, stacked up and pushed back at around the 38. Little scrum there at the end of that play. Purifoy involved.
Well, if this play happened the first play of the game, I would say maybe the timing and there was a little rust for Calgary. Watch Bo Levi Mitchell either turn the wrong way or Messam went the wrong way, one of the two, but they get the ball out to Daniels anyway.
Remember, this drive started at the Stampeder 7-yard line. And the 9th play upcoming. And it's 2nd and short. Maybe a freebie for this explosive offense. No, goes straight ahead to Messam. And I'm not sure Messam got anything. He got drilled back. Mikhail Brooks, the big nose tackle, along with Brian Turner, clogged the hole.
Boy, I tell you what, right now the BC Lions, they're a little trash talking going on now, but the Lions are trying to just regroup and look at these different formations that Dickinson has been able to put in through this long break. You see Fenner bouncing around. They didn't get it. They're going to have to get it right here.
No, it's third and I think a full yard now. I think he lost yardage. And Andrew Buckley off the left side, and he got it.
Oh, boy.
I was supposed to believe by Mitchell, excuse me. Buckley usually comes in, but Mitchell stays in the game, and Elimian had to make an ankle tackle.
Yeah, a bit of a gamble here for Mitchell to take it that wide, because Solomon Elimian almost shot in the gap and got him in the backfield, but Mitchell does lunge forward and get over that first down marker.
Good look at it here. So the drive continues. The 11th play starting at the 35, and Messam, initial hit from Big Hill. Geeter finishes it off, and about 4 for Jerome Messam. Top Canadian nominee, 5 100-yard games on the season.
Now, when it comes to play calling, Dave Dickinson will not go away, even if from the run, even if Messam early on didn't get there. It's one-on-one in a huge hole created by the offensive line with Adam Bighill, and the big back weighing in at 265.
Elimian led the league in tackles. Bighill was third. Trying to shut down the leading rusher in the league, Jerome Messam, second down. Mitchell's got Markway McDaniel. Touchdown. 31-yard touchdown strike.
Let's go!
And it caps a 103-yard TD drive.
What a drive. Play calling, multiple formations, balance with the run game, and then a strike from Mitchell to his go-to guy, Markway McDaniel, to cap it off.
7 different Calgary receiver to catch a pass in this first half. And the extra point from Paredes is good. 5.5 minutes into the second quarter. And the Calgary Stampeders expand the lead. Mitchell to McDaniel. 15-0 Stamps.
Take a look at the touchdown. Purifoy coming on the blitz. That means that the safety, Mike Edam's got to come up and cover on Markway McDaniel, but he's trying to do it from depth, which is very, very difficult. Markway McDaniel makes a little double move on him right down the seam.
Everybody back home in Virginia, all the family watching, man. I love y'all, man.
12 plays, 103 yards. Almost a half quarter, 7:26 off the clock. And so the Stamps scored on their first possessions of both quarters, the first and second. Rainey return up around the 40-yard line. Great drive by the Stamps, capped by this 31-yard toss. Mitchell to McDaniel. 15-0 Calgary.
During the break, Mark Washington talking to the entire defense that is trying to catch up. They're trying to find which guys they're supposed to cover, the different checks and formations. Dave Dickinson was able to add to their playbook in the break.
Had to come back last week. They're going to have to do it again. Jonathan Jennings will take off and a run up across the 45-yard line. Looks like about 8. Junior Turner at the tackle. Last week, 9 carries, 43 yards, a pair of touchdowns. His biggest rushing game of the year was 44 yards against Calgary in the season opener. 2nd and 2. High snap that seemed to affect the timing. Johnson with a cutback. Not going to get there.
that can throw the timing of this running play off, and does. Up to the right, just a little bit of a hesitation before Johnson gets it. Now the pursuit is able to rally and get there to hold him short of the first down. That was a crucial play because the BC Lions needed to give their defense a chance on the bench to regroup. And their offense didn't get it done. 2 and out.
First 2 and out for the Lions. Fourth consecutive punt. Leone driving Finch back to the 10. And Finch is drilled before he got to the 15-yard line. Kekalongo had a couple of special team tackles last week with a big one there. Bo going back to work when we return. That touchdown drive by Calgary of 103 yards. The 5th time this season they have driven the ball from inside their 20 for a major score. This time starting at their 15. Mitchell time over the middle. It's McDaniel again. Up over the 40-yard line for Marco McDaniel and a pickup of 26. But a flag down.
There's the flag down. We'll see what this call is right on the sideline.
Illegal contact. BC number 0. That penalty be declined. First down.
Purifoy for illegal contact.
10-yard penalty will be declined. The play was bigger by Marquay McDaniel, so let's show you that. He's going to come from the right of your screen, just layer across on a crossing route. And Mitchell lays it out there for him to run under it. Again, a different formation. They had Rob Cote at wide receiver on that last play.
So first down, a quick hitter inside Daniels, and he's punished. Stewart and Elamimian converging on the talented rookie receiver who's going to take some time to shake off that hit.
It's tough on a defense when they're seeing all these different types of formations and looks from the Calgary offense, because they got to stop and think, and if you stop and think, you're a step behind the football.
And Daniels still not up. He's going to require some assistance after that hit from the top defensive player in the West. Mentioned top rookie, played in the NCAA championship game back in 2013. Notre Dame against Alabama, leading receiver in that game for the Irish, 6 catches, 110 yards. So he's used to the big stage.
Yeah, you always wonder that when a rookie receiver, even if he's had a big year like Davaris Daniels, what will happen when they get to playoffs and the big game and the big stage, and he's been on it. The BCS National Championship versus Alabama, and had that big game there, so hopefully he'll be okay and be able to return. They do have Bakari Grant dressed on the line in the lineup tonight or today.
The all-new 2017 Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Yeah, often Dave Dickinson would have made the decision between Bakari Grant or Kamar Jordan, but in this case has dressed those two and Daniels as wide-out receivers. And well, Daniels looks like he's okay. He does have depth at that position.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be fine.
Eavesdropping in on that 2nd and 3 call in the huddle from Bo Levi Mitchell. Lamar Durant has lined up to the wide, or to the near side of us, and they're going to throw deep, looking for Jordan, and step for step was Brandon Stewart. So the punt team has to come on for Calgary. Mitchell says it's on him. BC needed to stop, and now the Lions need points.
Yeah, I would say desperately needed that. Desperately needed to stop, change this momentum, get a few first downs together, let their defense rest for the next series.
Rob Mavert, that kick not as deep, and it will bounce out, no return. A 32-yard punt. It goes out at the BC 31. Join us at halftime for the GMC Precision Playbook. Today, Matt Brink breaks down a memorable Kevin Glenn touchdown from the 2012 Western Final between the Stamps and Lions.
Well, all season long, moments like this when the BC Lions needed a big play, it was Jennings trying to push the ball deep. And more often than not, completing the deep ball.
Longest play, 25 yards so far today against this Calgary defense. Pick to Johnson, Sinfield able to bring it down on that high pass. And Suits, if it was BC that hadn't played after a long bye, we would almost say they look a little rusty.
I think playing against a highly ranked defense that is well rested with fresh legs. But having said that, Jonathan Jennings lets this one go a little bit high, making it a very tough catch for Sinfield.
Had a high shotgun snap on the last series. That pass delivered out of the reach of Sinfield, and it sets up 2nd and 10. Pocket collapses, flag comes down, and the pass is caught. Are they going to rule it a catch? Yes, just shy of the first down stick. But it looks like a holding call against the right tackle, Antonio Johnson.
Haven't said his name too much yet this afternoon in Charleston Hughes, but you know we will before it's over. And I think it was Antonio Johnson working on Hughes on that last play. Standing rookie nominee for the BC Lions at right tackle.
Getting options if they decline the penalty. I believe
Major
it's
foul, face mask. BC number 53. That penalty will be applied at the end of the play. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, they got the number wrong because 53 plays on defense, but it's a face mask call, not a holding call, and so they mark it back at the 25.
Yeah, it was 57, Antonio Johnson. And he is lined up right here. There's Charleston Hughes, and he does get his right hand up in the face mask of Hughes there, pulls it down.
Back to an out. Leone boots it away. Backpedaling is Durant. And Brandon Stewart there to bring him down at around the 35. Let's go down to the sidelines here again. Sarah Orleski.
Well, Chris, we've heard you and Glenn say that you haven't seen the rust on the Calgary Stampeders. No surprise to Bo Levi Mitchell that would be the case. In fact, the fastest way to get an eye roll or a deep sigh from him this week was to ask him about any potential rust. He said after 15 straight weeks, it was a benefit for this team to have the bye at the end of the regular season, as well as to start the playoffs both mentally and physically. He also wanted to know, why does no one ever look at it as a positive, having that extra time off? It seemed to work out pretty well, he said, for the Edmonton Eskimos in 2015.
Yeah, that's all they had to do, cite what the Eskimos did last year after a bye. Mitchell on a roll, looking deep, looking for Daniels, in behind, and they're not going to catch him. It's a Calgary touchdown. 76 yards.
Boy, there's lots of positives having that long break and the fresh legs and the jump in your step when it comes time to get back on the field and play this Western Final. And Tavares Daniels just outruns Brandon Stewart.
Star rookie receiver in behind a 10-year veteran, matching his season high, a 76-yard play. And the explosion play has Wally Buono's team in a huge hole. Convert's good. And it's even a bigger hole than Jonathan Jennings and the Lions climbed out of last week.
Tremendous route running here from Tavares Daniels, one-on-one on Brandon Stewart. It's a double move. Now, two things here. You've got to, first of all, have time in the pocket, but you also need to be able to fool that receiver. There's Tavares Daniels, bottom of your screen. Watch him go off the ball like he's going deep. Then he puts the brakes on. Little double move here. Now, that pulls Brandon Stewart his enemy. Turns the corner, can't catch him from behind. Bo Levi Mitchell extended the play by rolling to his right, gave Daniels time, and when he does, it's another touchdown for the Calgary Stampeders.
8 touchdowns in the last 8 games for Daniels, and 89 now, 9 for his last 9 games. And as you mentioned, Suits, they found the next Eric Rogers. A lot of emotion on that Lions sidelines. They got to generate it in a productive way now.
I hear it all the time, Chris, when a player is looking at free agency, possibly moving to the NFL after a great season, as was the case for Eric Rogers last year. You hear it all the time, well, what will we do? It's going to be a huge loss. Of course, it's a loss, but you find the next guy. And that's what Calgary has done since 2008, and John Huffnagel came back to this organization. Those are the exact numbers that Eric Rogers had last year. DeVaris Daniels, if he played all 18 games, would have been bang on. They found the next guy.
Lions have had 5 possessions, ending in 5 punts. Need something here. Jennings throws. It's complete to Arsenault. First down up at the 45-yard line. Glenn loved the tackle.
Now, you don't want to make a habit of this, but the Lions have shown they can come from behind. Against Winnipeg last weekend, down 19 points at one point in the game. Down 12 with just 7 minutes to go. And rallied and came back. It's not over yet, but they got to get some momentum and got to get something positive out of this drive here.
Rainey in the offense. First down, 46-yard line. Rainey with the football. And he has 5 to the 51.
By the way, I also talked to Bo Levi Mitchell about that break and the 41 days and the positives on it. We've seen a couple of examples of the positives from the big break. Fresh legs when DeVaris Daniels outruns Brandon Stewart to the end zone. Their plays and formations that they were able to add during that break, they're sharp. There's no rest here.
But the Josh Belsay gives cement time, and it sets even harder. Nice. 2nd and 5. Jennings throws. Pass incomplete. Almost intercepted on the tip. Intended for Brian Burnham. Jamar Wall nearly able to pick that off. So another punt upcoming for BC. Close call here as Wall nearly had the first turnover of the game. We hit the 3-minute warning in Calgary.
James Duthie back with you, getting set for halftime here in Ottawa. Rod and the panel will be by. Jock Climby was banished after dumping a bucket of snow over my head. He continues to try to abuse people with snow, going after Stiegel. 2 receivers with awful aim. Clearly made the right choice being receivers over quarterbacks. Halftime coming up in 3 minutes.
All right, James, not sure the panel showing equanimity or synchronicity, but not sure what that. But Calgary is. There's a punt by Leone bouncing down inside the 10. And Lamar Durant is stopped at the 9.
Most wins by a first-year head coach. Adam Rita had 13, 2008. John Huffnagel's first year back here in Calgary. Mike Benavides, 13 in 2012. 2 of those coaches winning Grey Cups that year. Can Dave Dickinson get it done?
Dave Dickinson trying to be only the 2nd man to win the most outstanding player and be the head coach of a Grey Cup championship team. The only other man to do it, the great Ron Lancaster. Stamps start at their 10 and they hand it off to Messam. Messam off the right side, crashing up to the 17 and has 7.
Boy. Nothing phases Bo Levi Mitchell and keeping keeping his run game and that balance in the offense, but doesn't matter if he's backed up. That long drive, crucial in this one to get that momentum that they finished with the Marquay McDaniel touchdown starting on their own 7-yard line. I mean, those are monster drives in the playoffs and demoralizing to the opposition. Nothing seems to phase number 19.
2nd and 3. Inside handoff. Huge hole. There's the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League. Pounding it out across the 35.
Right guard, SFU Brad Erdos and Fader Kyle are just going to blow it up on that right side of the offensive line. Go ahead and run it, guys. Here how they take off, and watch how Jerome Messam. Look at that hole open up. 19-yard gain for 33. Not hit till he gets to the secondary.
Just like that, up to 47 yards in the first half, so they'll give it back to him again. Big Hill slashing down to bring him down around the 43-yard line, but more positive first down yards. Messam a little slow to get up this time.
It took 2 guys just to get him up and help him up.
Suits, averaged 93 yards from scrimmage per game this year over 18 games. Only 60 yards per game against the Lions. But BC's going to have to do a better job than what they've done in the first half against 33.
Well, down 22, they got to start ripping at the ball, and that's going to maybe allow Messam to get a couple longer runs, but they got to create some turnovers. Get back in this one.
Dave Dickinson's upset, and I think they want Messam out of the game because of concussion protocol.
Well, and there is an injury spotter in the game now that even if the player feels like he's okay and the training staff...
Please reset the clock to 1:34.
You see that second hit there right from Purifoy at the end on the back of the head, and he was slow to get up, so the spotter is taking him off the field.
Yeah, Messam said he was okay, and I don't think Dave Dickinson believed there was anything wrong with his running back, but Cote does come in, and Messam will take a break. 2nd and short, so Cote gets the ball. He cuts it back, and Cote's got a first down.
It's going to start frustrating that linebacking core. Marquay McDaniel, another block to help out his running back, and it's Cote, but this is the type of thing when the #1 running back is out of the game, and you go to really the fullback, there's a nice block right there by McDaniel. And then Cote comes in and gets a first down, moves the chains. That demoralizes you as well.
Quickly into the hands of Kamar Jordan, pushed out at the Calgary bench.
And sorry, Chris, that's not a slight against Rob Cote, who's been a tremendous pro and sort of an unsung hero for this Calgary offense. But when the backup comes in and gets the first down, that defense starts to drop their head a little bit.
Yeah, this is ribs, man. Come on, Dickie, let's go, man. Let's go.
So Messam says he's okay.
Come on, Coach.
Shot off on the ribs, but nothing that's going to stop him. Cote stays in. Mitchell over the middle. Look at McDaniel. Finds another hole in that BC secondary.
And Mitchell on the money. It's right up here in your screen, and watch how Marquay McDaniel is going to gear it down just a little bit when he gets past the linebackers so he doesn't extend it too far into the safety Mike Edom. And you're right, Chris, he was right in the hole in front of the safety and just in behind Elamimi.
32 yards that time for McDaniel, his second big play of his first half. Bo Levi Mitchell is in shredder mode right now. 262 yards, open man, touchdown, Kamar Jordan.
Elamimian saying he didn't catch it.
That nigga trying to cheat shots. He's weak as fuck. He's weak.
Celebrations on. I'm not sure an official signaled, and Wally Bonner ready to challenge. Now the signal is touchdown.
Yeah, they had a meeting, the officials.
Early on the field is a touchdown.
Well, think there'll be a challenge for that.
Big Hill, yeah, Big Hill. Well, it's ruled a touchdown, so it'll be reviewed automatically. And it may be overturned because I'm not sure he survived contact. He uses the ground here. Kamar Jordan has it there, takes the hit. Now as he's going down, he's got to maintain possession.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
You're right, Wally Blotto ready to challenge, didn't have to, because it is under review, as ruled a touchdown.
I think this is the best angle to show you the football. And you see the ball touches the ground there, and then he rolls up over it. Mike Edom with a big hit from the safety spot. Former University of Calgary Dino. Congratulations to the Dinos going to the Vanier Cup. Their win yesterday over St. FX.
And Laval will be their opponent in a matchup of U Sports powerhouse teams. Taking a little longer than you might have anticipated.
After review, it's an incomplete pass. He's second down and 10.
But they get the call right. Despite some dispute from the big crowd here at McMahon.
Well, it was a big hit from the UFC grad Mike Edom to knock it out of there and give that BC defense a chance to maybe hold for a field goal. Kamar Jordan did his best to sell it.
Jordan almost 500 yards in the final 6 games of the year. He had trouble getting back in the lineup. The depth of the Stampeder offense. But when he finally got back in, he made the most of it.
Now they went through Joe West, Greg Wilson, Bakari Grant, Kamar Jordan, found DeVaris Daniels, put him up that wideout spot, moved Jordan inside.
Greg Wilson lit up BC earlier this season, but hasn't been able to get back in. 2nd and 10, low snap, pressure on, and almost intercepted. And Brandon Stewart went high, but maybe the first time or second time in this half that pressure got to Mitchell and forced the throw.
Yeah, this time Mark Washington, defense coordinator for the BC Lions, just decided to send him, and they like this blitz. Both linebackers, Adam Big Hill, Solomon Ilomimian, going A-gap blitz between the center and the guard on either side. And they get there, at least force a field goal attempt.
So Paredes from 26 out. And it's a 25-point first half lead. Next Saturday, the warm-up to the biggest party of the year, Grey Cup Saturday. Get you set for the big game. 6 hours of CFL coverage, including CFL Player Awards, features from team practices, and more. It all gets underway Saturday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on TSN 4.
And there still has not been a Western team to cross over, go through the East and get to the Grey Cup. That's 9 times now it's happened, and never has the Western team advanced to the Cup.
Under a half minute remaining for Jonathan Jennings to try and salvage something from this first half. Look at it, picked off. It's Jamal Wall, and it is a Calgary touchdown. For the veteran, Jamal Wall.
Well, in this situation, our producer down in the truck, John Hyde, said in my ear, do you take a knee here and just get out of the half down 25 with around 20 seconds to go? You don't want to second guess, but wow. All Calgary.
Wall, who changed his number to 31 to honor the late Mylan Hicks, adding to the woes of the BC Lions here in the first half.
Just a timing issue for Jennings. He wants to throw that little out route that worked so well in the fourth quarter to Marco Iannuzzi on the sideline, but his timing was just a little bit off. Here's Iannuzzi, who's just going to kind of run like this, and he's got to throw the ball a half step earlier. Like now, the ball's got to be in the air. Now Wall can't get there, but it's another steamboat, another step, and undercuts it. And then no one is going to catch him to the end zone. Jamar Wall, a bit of a question mark coming into this Western Final because of a toe injury. Led the team in interceptions in the regular season. 17 knockdowns. Well, that's a big one. Another nail.
2 regular season touchdowns. Devon Claybrook's loving it. The defensive coordinator, that's the first postseason touchdown for Jamar Wall. One of the solid vets on the Stampeders that maybe gets overshadowed by some of the bigger names, but just gets it done every week. Well, Jonathan Jennings threw 15 interceptions during the regular season, cut them down late in the year. But it's another painful lesson in what's been a very quick learning curve for this young quarterback. On the ground to Johnson to the 40. And time for one more play here in this first half.
Back to regroup. I was going to say, if you're down by 25 in the first half and you are going to throw it and try and just pedal to the metal and try and come back, you got to throw the deep ball. Go north. Then, yeah, exactly. Then if it's intercepted, you rally, make the tackle, the half ends, throw that wide field out. Boy, you better be right on the timing, and Jennings wasn't.
Well, we might get an indication of his arms still clear. Well, he's got Brian Burnham over the middle. Burnham with a
Wait for it, hold him up.
big game, but they're out of time here in the first half as Burnham is dropped at the Calgary 36. Well, they're the best team in the Canadian Football League for a reason, and they showed you many reasons in that first half. 32-0 at halftime. As we send you from McMahon Stadium back to the nation's capital, here's James Duffy.
All right, thank you, CC. Yes, so much for rust after not playing for 3 weeks. A month for Bo Levi Mitchell. They look every part the juggernaut that went 15-2-1 all season long. To break it down for you, Rod Smith in the panel.
Thank you, James. Hope you don't mind. We just borrowed Jock for a little while because after that snowball fight, you know, Jock kind of forgot how much he liked fighting with Milt, so he wants to do it a little bit more now, perhaps. Yes, it's Jock sitting in for Matty right now, and Milt and Schultze, too. Geez. Yes, rest versus rust. Shouldn't the Stampeders be concerned that it's 6 weeks in between meaningful games, Milt? I mean, shouldn't that be a problem?
Should it be a concern, Schultze? Because you were the one before the game screaming, 41 days, it's too much.
No. Listen, this game started out, and I admit, the level of execution was pretty phenomenal by the Calgary Stampeders. I give them 100%.
Fresh legs. Those fresh legs are paying off. And they're not just talking about any team. We're talking about one of the best teams in CFL history having fresh legs, having possibly 41 days off. And Marquay McDaniels, he's had even more days off than 41 days. So those fresh legs are coming to the play. And you see right here, this defense, they're swarming. They're excited. They're excited to be playing football again. They haven't played in, 41 days. And what about Daniels? This is Darrell Walker of 2016. One of the best receivers in the CFL. Just a rookie making plays. Those fresh legs are paying off. 32-0 for these fresh legs, Jock.
I heard you guys doing your debate about fresh legs or rest or not. How about dominant football team against a not so dominant football team? I mean, that's it. It doesn't matter how much rest these guys get or don't get. The Calgary Stampeders are just that much better. And you have to look no further than their ground game. I mean, I'm already thinking about next week. I'm already thinking about the Red Blacks, trying to figure out how they're going to contain this offense. Jerome Messam, in particular, he's a beast. I mean, this guy already has got 54 yards on the ground, and he's an afterthought right now. I mean, there's been so much bombs away by Mitchell. I bet you no one's even thinking about the fact that this guy is averaging 6 yards a carry and is having his way with the BC Lion defense. Red Blacks, look out.
And here's the conversation in the locker room right now for the BC Lions. It is about pride. It is about emotion. It is about doing whatever is necessary to compete in the second half. No doubt the first half, all Calgary Stampeders. There have only been 2 negative plays for the Stampeders in the entire half. You rarely see a CFL football team play to this level of perfection. That's the only one that was really proactive for BC. And then this one pass here by Bo Levi Mitchell, where the communication between the receiver and the thrower are a little bit off. But you wait and see. If BC, hear me out. If they don't come back and compete in the second half, you can take all those wins and just throw them away. It will not be a successful season.
You know what the halftime speech for the Calgary Stampeders are?
What?
Guys, you need to decide how many family members you want to come to the Grey Cup.
Wow,
It better not be, because anything can happen. I was already feeling badly.
Wait a minute, it sounded like you'd already handed it to Calgary here.
Dan, I remembered where I was, which is in the Canadian Football League.
Right.
So, do not turn off your television
They
sets.
may make it a game,
The
but
BC Lions have a very explosive offense. You just never know. Let's wait to see who scores the next touchdown, okay? Okay?
All right.
Then we'll decide if this is over.
Lions trailed Winnipeg last week by 19, although that was late in the first half. They did come back, and they did win this game. Hey, it's a big week coming up for us, of course, Grey Cup week in Toronto. And also, Grey Cup week live. That is hosted by the CFL Facebook page. That'll be Wednesday to Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Saturday and Grey Cup Sunday. That'll start at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. 32 on the board for the Calgary Stampeders. Hey, Ottawa put 35 on the board the entire game. Jock's heading over to James. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Showdown between the top 2 teams in the regular season. First down, it is Durant, left side. Touchdown. Mitchell's got it both ways. McDaniel. Touchdown. The Calgary Stampeders expand the lead.
Calgary's game planning and breakdown of the aggressive BC Lions defensive tendencies was spot on.
Lions send pressure. Glenn over the middle, wide open. It's a 68-yard silencer.
They anticipated pressure and got it. What is brilliant about this play call by Calgary is they utilize a quick snap. By doing so, they catch the BC Lions defense at depth, nullifying their pressure entirely. This enables Kevin Glenn the time to locate uncovered receiver McDaniel before the extra defenders can lay a finger on the veteran signal caller. This quick count subtlety sets the tone for an explosive beginning to what turns out to be a true Wild West shootout. You hear the phrase often, set the tone early. Well, it does not get much better than that, as the Calgary Stampeders go on to defeat the defending Grey Cup champions 34-29.
A Grey Cup rematch in the CFL Eastern Final. So here we go.
Look out here. Tristan Jackson is going to go. It's a touchdown. Keenan LaFrance is going to score a touchdown. Let's go. We're going back. Get ready, Ottawa. You're going to the Grey Cup.
Back in the nation's capital with Jacques Climie, CFL history, as he does the first ever double halftime panel. He made it about 40 yards in 3 minutes.
It's more like 400 yards.
Which is roughly his 40 time when
Not
he played.
even out of breath.
I grew up 30 years here, watching different incarnations of Ottawa football teams find every possible way to lose. They would have found a way to lose this game the way it turned early in that second half. Why was this group different?
Yeah, it's because they actually played dominant football in every other aspect of the game except in the turnover. They lost the turnover battle and still won. Edmonton was 6-0 when they win the turnover battle. But yeah, Ottawa looked like they were doing their very best to give this game away, especially with this fumble from Burris. They had another fumble right after that in their own zone, and Edmonton took advantage. But here's the thing. Ottawa was just too good in other areas. Kreiner, I mean, what he did in the fourth quarter in particular was incredible. This is not one of the four. This is not one of the 4,000-yard receivers on this team, but yet that's who Burris went to when he needed big first downs. And then the defensive secondary, which has been a little suspect for Ottawa all year, was amazing in this game. They were all over the receivers. And then what can you say about this kid? I mean, Keenan LaFrance, has put himself on the map with his 157-yard performance. They were dominant on the ground. John White was a non-factor, and it was that allowed them to overcome some pretty big mistakes near the end of the game.
Did the weather favor Ottawa in retrospect?
Yeah, you know, I was standing on the bench and I was watching both sidelines and watching guys on the field in terms of how they handled the weather. Burris didn't seem affected by it at all, and either did his receivers. But I saw guys on the Edmonton Eskimos play differently because of it. Receivers, defensive backs, unsure of their footing, changed their game, and I thought that had a huge difference in the outcome.
Ottawa goes to its second straight Grey Cup now. They were up 25-3, remember, and Edmonton did make a game out of it. I suppose that could mean something to the Lions, but these are the Calgary Stampeders, and this is 32-0 heading towards the second half. BC needs a miracle.
Tim Horton's CFL must-see moments.
7.5 hours to decide who meets for the Grey Cup in Toronto.
So here we go.
Look out here. Tristan Jackson is going to go. It's a touchdown.
Right now, the Redblacks are pouring it on the Eskimos. Playing football in a winter wonderland. Riley down the sideline and going for the touchdown. Darius Bowman. Keenan LaFrance with a huge leap.
Also, Jock Climby with his thoughts as we... Bob McKenzie would never do that.
Keenan LaFrance is going to score a touchdown. Let's go. We're going back. Get ready, Ottawa. You're going to the Grey Cup.
Ottawa's in, and boy, it sure looks like Calgary's going to follow them. Sometimes the stats lie, but this is pure truth, Jock.
So, James, when I'm back in the studio, I got to telestrategy, this funny little thing where the numbers are opsided and I circle the one side, and I say, you know, I don't have that, but, you know, I don't need to. Look at those numbers. Oh, my goodness. 334 to 153? Are you kidding me?
Mainly because of this guy, Bo Levi Mitchell, with Sarah Orleski.
Bo, you were so frustrated and tired of the questions about rust leading into this game. What worked so well for this group in that first half?
Man, I mean, shoot, we used the body to our advantage, honestly. Like, we came out here, we had fresh legs, we're running. I mean, you just see a couple times, I mean, we're outrunning these guys. And, you know, I mean, we can't relax. We know how explosive this team is on offense. We know Jonathan can put up points. We know these receivers can blow by guys. So, 32-point lead, it is nice, but, you know, we're not going to relax like we have in the past.
Okay, so have you learned then, you think, from past experiences of just teams being able to come back in that second half?
Absolutely, 100%, and this is playoffs. So our goal right now, we have to go out there and put up 60 if we want to win. You know, we got to expect that they can come out here and put up 40 points in a half, and we know they can do it. So, you know, we have a great team. We know that as long as we come out, play our game, we can finish this.
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it.
Not quite the snowy postcard scene we had in Ottawa. Just all sunshine and happiness for the Stamps and their fans. Up 32, second half with CC and Glenn right after this.
Looks like the hometown team is halfway to the Grey Cup. Huge lead after 30 minutes before we start the second half. Let's go to Sarah Orleski with Solomon Elimimian.
Solomon, obviously a very rough first half for this Lions team. What is the first step to being able to get back into this game?
Well, just have some pride, have some fundamentals, man. You know what, right now, you know, they came out and hitting us mouth, and, you know, I just told the guys, let's settle down, let's get back to football, and let's be who we want to be.
Did you speak up at the half?
We all did. Coach Wally mainly, and he just said, guys, look, just calm down, let's just execute the plays that's being called, and let everybody just, you know, play fast and just play physical.
Thank you, Solomon.
All right.
Long way to go.
But yeah, one series at a time. Fundamentals, calm down a little bit, regroup, see if you get a stop against Bo Levi Mitchell. In this offense had two big drives, one a 12-play, 103-yard drive over 7 minutes, and then in a touchdown, one a 9-play, 91-yard drive. That's what got to bounce back from.
But in the last 6 quarters of postseason action between these two teams, Calgary's outscored BC 67-9. It was 35-9 in the Western Semi last year.
Maybe it's Chris Rainey that can give this Lions team a little spark. We'll see.
Beretta's with the boot. Will not be Rainey. It's Iannuzzi trying to get outside. A flag comes down on an illegal block. And it looks like Travis Lulay will start the second half.
During the return, holding, BC number 53, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, I wouldn't put that first half all on Jonathan Jennings, although he did have the one late interception that went for a touchdown. Defense couldn't stop Mitchell. The balanced attack by Calgary.
Jennings came out in the second quarter last year in the Western semifinal because of a shoulder issue. This coach's decision to start the second half, the penalty on Alex Bazzi. And they spot the ball back at the 15.
That was another issue in the first half for Wally Buono's squad. 75 yards of penalties in the first half. A penalty here to start the second. Can't do that against the best team in the Canadian Football League.
Well, the former MLB goes to work, handing it off inside, and a good run on first down for Jeremiah Johnson for a first down.
Wasn't all on Jonathan Jennings. Wasn't his best half by a long way, but not all his fault. In that first half, the BC Lions punted the ball 6 times, had just 6 first downs. Jennings missed a couple, overthrowing a couple of targets. That was the late interception to Jamar Wall. Their last play of that half, which was when the half was over, 33 yards of their 153 net.
And the quarterback, the Lions, to the 2011 Grey Cup has a wide open Terrell Sinkfield. Only Josh Bell back, and now Sinkfield cuts across the field, and he'll get brought down at the 32-yard line.
Well, he's been the mentor for Jonathan Jennings all season long, including last week when he threw the interception early in that game against Winnipeg. Travis Lulay calmed him down, talked to him on the sideline like he's done all year. He's been a team guy first, getting a chance to see if he can rally this team. A 51-yard strike to Terrell Sinkfield.
Big play, Sinkfield, maybe the fastest guy on the field. And now Johnson back inside. Threw an arm tackle for a couple of extra yards down to the 28. 4-5 for Jeremiah Johnson. Mentioned last week, 76% in second down conversions, 3 for 9 in the first half for BC. 2nd and 6. Through the reads. Anybody home? Law got a hit on Lulay, who throws a strike to Iannuzzi for a fresh set of BC downs.
Boy, Travis Lulay looked at almost every receiver through the progression that time. To the backside to Manny Arsenault. He wasn't open. He wanted to go backside. First of all to the short side of the field. Looking there, couldn't find it. Extends the play and then gets it to Iannuzzi. Former MOP, former Grey Cup MVP. It's got a little momentum for BC to start the second half.
First time in the red zone this afternoon. Lulay going for the end zone and can't hook up with Manny Arsenault.
Just not quite coming out of his breaks the same way. Running the corner route from that slot back spot. Just down here, then to the corner. Working with Sean Gore, who we haven't talked about much. His first game back in some time due to injury. You can see he just doesn't have that same burst or acceleration we've seen from number 84.
Got an injured Stampeder in the end zone. Brandon Smith checking the ankle. Maybe cramping up. And we will step aside while he gets attention. Lions in the score zone when we come back. Fans from across Canada and around the world are being invited to send inspirational messages via Twitter to the 2 winners of this weekend's CFL Divisional Finals. Fans will have a 24-hour window to tweet their messages beginning tonight at 8 Eastern using the below hashtags. Red Black fans can get busy. Travis Lulay, 2nd and 10 from the Calgary 20-yard line. He'll step back, take off, and has a first down inside the 10.
He dove head first, which may get him there, Chris. It does get him there. Yeah, just past that first down marker. I was going to say if he hook slides there and goes feet first, he might have been about a yard short, although at this point they're probably going for it anyway, but got a new set of downs.
Lulay's generated 4 first downs on this opening drive of the second half. The Lions with only 6 first downs in the first half.
And this drive started with a penalty. Put them deep in their own end.
First and goal. Way out of the backfield. They empty it out. They're way outside.
Chalk that one up to a good crowd here in Calgary.
Procedure. BC number 57. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Well, they picked off the offensive lineman. It looked like a couple of the receivers were 3 or 4 yards offside, and the veteran head coach reacts to that. So first and goal from just inside the 15 now. Pocket collapses, ducks it off, and it's Johnson breaking a tackle and getting down around the 3. Good second effort for Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, and from Lulay, both. Lulay just kind of buying himself some time, just kind of negotiating the pocket a little bit, and then drops it. Feels like his tailback can go and do more with it than he can in the open field running, so he does. Nice catch with the one hand, and then Johnson, good second effort. That's Alex Singleton. Won't bring that tackle very often.
Lulay just releasing that before he crossed the line of scrimmage. Good look at the rookie middle linebacker who has had a stellar year for the Stampeders. Play the drive, 2nd and goal. Pick to Johnson, Lulay with a little toss in the end zone, touchdown. Manny Arsenault's got the catch on a little shot put toss from Travis Lulay.
How did he get that out of there? Travis Lulay fighting off some penalties, put him in some difficult situations, moving the ball, the big deep ball down the sideline to sink field. Look at this play. Shock put to Manny Arsenault with 3 defenders around him. Go for 2. Have all season in their first score, and this is their first score in this third quarter. But something to build on for BC and give maybe even a little spark to their defense.
0 for 3 last week in 2-pointers. Lulay started the year as the 2-point quarterback. That changed shortly in the second half of the season. That's not going anywhere as it didn't go anywhere last week. And the defensive play made by Jagarrett Davis. But the Lions get on the board. Travis Lulay with that little toss to the leading touchdown receiver during the regular season, Manny Arsenault. So Arsenault with the first major score for the Lions. A kickoff into the end zone. Roy Finch is going to allow to roll in and concede a point, so now it's 32-7. 8 plays, 95 yards, 5:43 off the clock, and Lulay caps it.
For Lulay to throw that properly, he's got to turn that off shoulder all the way back around, and he was being chased by Harris. Couldn't do that, so he just tips it there. Here's the 2-pointer, and Jagarrett Davis has an outside defender with him, so he doesn't have to worry about containing. He just crashes down and is in the backfield, not allowing Jeremiah Johnson to even get started.
But a glimmer of hope on that.
Well, it starts with the first series. You know, 1 series at a time.
Or the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with a huge second half comeback against Calgary, but Michael McDaniel has other plans. And McDaniel all the way Mitchell goes over 300 already.
It looked like Brandon Stewart's down. He was involved in the hit, was being blocked as he was trying to tackle Marquay McDaniel at the end of this. But they've really exposed the Lions in behind the linebacking core, but in front of the secondary. Marquay McDaniel is eating up that part of the field right now. This is scouting. This is all pre-scouting, taking a look at where they might be vulnerable. Play action pulls Purifoy up. That gets him in a chase. Marquay McDaniel does the rest, and there's the hit on Brandon Stewart and the reason he's down.
So McDaniel over 100 yards receiving. It's interesting, Suits, because in 2 of the 3 meetings this year, McDaniel was not a factor, but he has been a huge difference maker here today.
Lions will put Keenan Parker out at that wide side corner.
So Stewart and Stewart, excuse me, Stewart on the limp, and so is Purifoy. So there's a couple of adjustments on that defensive side. Purifoy, a rookie, strong side linebacker who has been a difference maker all season long for BC. Looks like Keenan Parker going to come in and play the Purifoy spot.
And telling him what to do.
And a high tackle there on Finch. Did he go down? No! And surges ahead to the 25. Well, did he put a knee down? BC argued it briefly, but I don't think he did.
See, the contact comes off the edge from Craig Rowe. I don't think he did. He got his hand down. There was no whistle. The rest of the Lions had stopped, thought forward progress had stopped.
Not down. It turns out to be 9. Keenan Parker on the corner. Anthony Thompson's come into the game as the extra defensive back and a first down run straight ahead for Messam. 54 yards in the first half for Messam.
Another
Dickinson's offense on all cylinders.
Sorry, Chris, another different formation from Dave Dickinson where Kamar Jordan, your receiver, is going to be the lead blocker like a fullback on Solomon Elamimian right here. You don't see that very often.
So what you're saying is don't give Dave Dickinson too much time to think about it. The mad scientist at work. And now he's got Jordan for another catch, tossed down by Gator around the 11-yard line.
Wow, you know, the way that Bo Levi Mitchell plays so calm and nothing seems to phase him. He's going to just fade away on this throw a little bit after the play action, pulls the defenders up. Watch him just fade away, flick of the wrist, accuracy bang on. I'm not sure if Bo Levi Mitchell even washes his undershirt after the game. I mean, he is just so calm in there no matter what the circumstance. Yes, they have a big lead, but I mentioned those 2 big drives in the first half. The Lions had finally got a little bit of momentum gone that quickly.
Short yardage group with Andrew Buckley in on 2nd and inches. And Buckley didn't get very much there.
I'm wondering if he dropped the ball because he hit the ball.
And they get to the 10, and they're going to mark it short. Probably the same spot, if not. Well, they are going to give him the 10. That might be enough.
He didn't even get the ball. It's down there on the ground. And
how did the Lions not come out with it?
Wow.
Nobody saw the football, and it's Juwan Breskison who comes up with it. 3rd and inches. That may be one of the stranger quarterback sneaks we've seen.
Well, he didn't get it. Didn't get the handle.
But in the sea of humanity, nobody sees the ball, but Breskison says, I'll take it.
Alex Bazzi's rolling out of there with the ball sitting right beside him.
Back up to the line off the right side, and this time secured football and a better surge. So it might be a chance to talk about that terrific offensive line for Calgary. 9 different starters, 10 different guys have played up there this year, constantly changing because of injury. Spencer Wilson, an all-star, playing center today, has played at right guard, at right tackle. And they've got all-stars in Derek Dennis and Wilson. And a lot of people in Calgary are upset Shane Bergman not an all-star at left guard as well. First and goal, Messam. Down to the 3.
Well, and that's, a good message to all the teams that are watching this game and not having the opportunity, do not have the chance to go to the Grey Cup. Talked about injuries all season, things like that. This Calgary Stampeder team, you mentioned the changes up front, but in their receiving core too. I mean, they went through Joe West, Greg Wilson, Bakari Grant was injured at times, went through Kamar Jordan, find DeVaris Daniels. I mean, Levi Mitchell, the constants were Mitchell, Messam, and McDaniel. But after that, there were plenty of changes like every other team.
Second and goal. Mitchell double pumps, throws, and is it intercepted? Gator's got the football, and they're ruling it is an interception in the end zone for Anthony Gator. Mitchell takes a look at the scoreboard to get verification. Here's a look. Intended for Jordan, taken away by Gator. And does he have control as he steps out?
Another look at the Anthony Gator interception, a 72-yard drive, and Calgary may not get points out. Both feet in bounds there, and he has secured the catch before going out of bounds. BC Lion football on the 25.
First interception thrown by Bo Levi Mitchell in his last 115 passes. Salule back for his second series. Drove the field the last time. Starts with Arsenault here. Since we saw Travis Lulay early in the year, Jonathan Jennings came out of a game against the Argonauts. Lulay comes in 12 of 15, 156 yards. They were out of the game. He made it interesting. And some thought we might have a quarterback controversy. Well, Jonathan Jennings never looked back after that. But Lulay reminded us he's still got some game. Again, pass for Arsenault, but that one tipped at the line. Incomplete.
I think Alex Singleton got there. Came on the blitz. The dual citizen, registered as a Canadian as far as the ratio goes, and what a pickup. The reason that Taylor Reid, and congratulations to Taylor Reid in Ottawa, was moved out of Calgary, and he took that starting spot. I think it's him that gets his hand on it right there.
Yep. Leone with a big boot. Finch back at his 21-yard line. And the cover team gets the job done. Swarming Finch at the 26. It's a 25-point Calgary lead. Third quarter. Well, it's been an era of excellence here in Calgary. I guess it extended way back with Wally Bono, but after he left, there was some flux, and then John Hufnagel came in, and this team has been a contender or a champion ever since.
Henry Burris was a starting quarterback in 2008.
And now let's go to Sarah Oleski on the sidelines.
Thank you, Chris. We asked Dave Dickinson about John Hufnagel, and he said that it's been such a smooth transition so far with Dave taking over as coach, and he feels fortunate to be a part of it. He said that when John Hufnagel was brought up here, he felt that it really stabilized. He said you could tell even from the outside that it stabilized this organization. They were able to find someone that had that dual role capability of general manager as well as coach, solid personnel, and you look at the job that he has done here with the Calgary Stampeders when he was in that dual role, and then the role that he has now.
Anthony Parker after that sidearm toss, ball loose, and does BC touch it last? It is BC Lion football as Parker is shaken up. Mike Edom with the hit that separates Anthony Parker from the football.
Second big hit in this game from Mike Edom. Good move here to spin out of it, but Purifoy steps. Edom is the guy who knocks it out. I was going to say Purifoy knocks it out, but it's Fenner.
Chandler Fenner, last to touch. And Parker still on the field, getting attention. And that time, Parker's second effort turns out to be costly. So that gives BC a little more life. An interception in the end zone that took potential Calgary points off the board, and now the Lions take over at the Calgary 32. I was going to say earlier, Winnipeg was down by, 24, 25 points, came back to take a lead in the final minute here at McMahon in a game that everybody had written off at halftime. A lot of work to be done.
See that
the Lions at least have some hope.
Yeah, they do. And you see that conversation there between Wally Bono, and that was Paul McCallum with the coat on that he was talking to. Looks like Parker will be okay. I think McCallum was wondering if they would go for a field goal here or not, or just play 3-down football from here on in to get back in this game. The fact that he's getting that ball out to warm up, okay, they'll take the points if they don't convert here.
First down BC, Calgary 32-yard line. Lule has 6 receivers out. Short drop, pitch by Rainey. Big hit on the play, but he hangs on against Jamal Wall. They'll mark it just outside the 25, a 7-yard pickup.
It's called quads, or 4 receivers to the wide side of the field. Rainey, the 4th receiver, most inside and closest to Lule, takes a hard hit and hangs on.
Got a real good spot. Second and short. Lule one pump. Anybody home? Trouble. Gets away. Gets a block. And throws complete, but no, incomplete. It was well short of the first down. In fact, back at the line of scrimmage. So we caught that conversation between Wally Bono and Paul McCallum, and he will come on.
Yeah, he'll come on. They'll go for the points, take the points in this good field position off the turnover. A little magic act initially from Lule, and then the ball just a little bit low.
McCallum, well, we're going to get a challenge flag first. Wally Bono's staff saw something that might keep the offense on the field.
They might be looking for an illegal contact from one of the defensive backs.
BC is challenging. There was illegal contact on their receiver, number 84. We'll review the play.
So Brandon Smith, I believe, was covering Emmanuel Arsenault. There's Arsenault there. Let's take a look. The ball is on the 25-yard line, so after 5 yards, no contact allowed. Double move from Arsenault and a grab from Brandon Smith right there. So new rule this year, the coaches can challenge illegal contact on passing plays, and they will have spotters up looking for it in crucial situations.
A matchup with guys on gimpy ankles. Arsenault against Brandon Smith. Wally Bono hasn't had much success throwing the challenge flag this year, but this would be an important call if it goes BC's way. And if successful, unbelievably, the first penalty of the game against the Stampeders.
After review, we have illegal contact. Calgary number 28. It'll be a 10-yard penalty and a first down.
That was a good challenge, and they found it. And found it in time before the snap for the field goal attempt. So it gives Travis Lule another set of downs, and they'll line it up on the 15-yard line after the illegal contact. Discovered in replay.
down to the 15. First penalty of the game. Coming here with just over 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Fans trying to rev up their defense and disrupt Lule. Out of the pocket. Throwing in zone. Back for grabs. Intercepted. Glenn Love comes down with the football.
Well, you can almost see it happening, even with the veteran. And Travis Lule rolling to his right, having to throw it across his body back into the middle of the field. I think Lions fans right here were saying, just go ahead and run it, get what you can. He throws it across the body. How many times have you seen that in football at all levels? Both sides of the border, when you throw it across, rolling to your right, back into the middle, and there's traffic in there. Love comes up with it, but Josh Bell was back there as well. If he doesn't catch it, I think Bell does.
Yeah, double coverage, an athletic play by Glenn Love, though. What a terrific play by the former BC Lion, who takes Duran Mayo's spot at the weak side linebacker position. Always a little sweeter to do it, not only in a postseason game, but against your former team, as the former UCLA Bruin just did against his old Lion teammates. And now a time count violation against the Stampeders.
Time count violation. Calgary number 19. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Bo Levi Mitchell talking to his receiving corps about that formation. Like when they broke the huddle, they went to the wrong side. Of course, with all the different and new look formations we've seen in this game.
Timer, please reset the clock to 1:22.
Seen Kamar Jordan as a fullback.
First and 15. Back at the 20. Lule swings it out. Messam had a good year receiving. Stopped by Big Hill. Jerome Messam with 54 catches during the regular season. Said that's one area he has most improved in over his years in the league.
Yeah, dual threat, no question. You can play him as tight end, too. And Dave Dickinson has done that at different times throughout the year. Go with double tights. You got Rob Cote, who also plays there. Not on this down.
Back to the original line of scrimmage in second and 10. Here comes pressure. Mitchell over the middle, and it's dropped. A drop there by Daniels, who hasn't dropped many this season. And the punt team has to come on.
Good recognition, though, from Mitchell. He saw the blitz coming, knew that he couldn't block them all, so this was his check down man. He gets it out of there. Can't throw it much better. That's just a drop by Tavares Daniels.
Iannuzzi and Rainey back, and Rob Baver's done a good job of keeping it out of Rainey's hands for the most part here today. Does it again, Iannuzzi. And they'll reverse it. And Rainey is stopped. Well covered there. And there's Glenn Love, who made the interception and has been outstanding on the teams all season long. Tied for third in the league with 21. So Jonathan Jennings watched for most of the third quarter. Wally Buono sending his young start back in after a time to regroup.
Interesting decision here. Go back to Jennings after the interception from Lule.
Play action fake on a roll. And that pass incomplete. Intended for Iannuzzi, but a flag down. Ciante Evans in coverage. And the coverage a little too tight.
Defensive pass interference. Calgary number 0. Point of foul. Automatic first down. And we'll have one more play in the quarter.
Can't end the quarter on a penalty as the intended target. Deontay Evans, 0. It's a little too much contact as the ball's arriving.
Evans in his second year, an All-Star who intercepted Jonathan Jennings in the late stages of that overtime game that stumped the Stampeder comeback. But it's first down BC at the 43. Jennings, open man, and he short hops it incomplete. So we're through 3 quarters. BC gets on the board. Defense creates a couple of turnovers. Lule finds Arsenault in the end zone, but a long way for the Lions still to climb. 98 yards passing for Jonathan Jennings in the first half. 86 in the third quarter for Travis Lule. And interesting the way Wally Buono is using his quarterbacks now.
Yeah, remember at the end of the first half, Jennings threw the interception for a touchdown. Did not start the third quarter. It was Lule. I thought the team showed more of a spark with Lule in there in the third quarter, but he throws that interception in the end zone, and he gets pulled. The fourth quarter looks like it's Jennings. There's no question that Jennings is a quarterback of this football team, but I thought that Lule gave the entire team a bit of a spark, but for the one bad decision. The other side of this, Chris, is with Jennings with his big down the field arm and the deficit they're looking at. Wally Buono might have said, we need some big plays down the field.
Can he make the most of his second chance? He's in trouble here and gets tossed down. Cordero Law. And that is only the first sack of the game for Calgary.
First sack, but they've been in the backfield. I've seen Cordero Law, Charleston Hughes, and we've seen a few plays by Jagarrett Davis. And they're getting in the face of Jonathan Jennings and causing him problems. That's the first sack, but he's been thrown around and over that rush, causing some high throws in that first half. Another challenge from Wally Buono. He looks like he wants to.
Yep, it's on the turf. What do we got this time?
All the way up. Got chipped again.
BC is challenging for illegal contact on their receiver number 16. We'll review the play.
So Brian Burnham was apparently an intended target. Let's find out what happened en route.
Desperate times for Wally Buono, trying to create with these challenges. He won the first one, but it didn't pay off with a touchdown. Well, that's minimal contact. If I don't see any look there where Joe Burnett is trying to impede the receiver, he just basically tapped him.
Might have had a better case if Burnham tried to take that inside, but
the other thing is, had the sack already occurred by that time down the field,
part of what they
assuming no,
what they look at in.
But that was minimal. It's got to be illegal contact, not just a touch or
like the
contact.
first one, right?
Yeah, the first one was impeded the receiver on the double move. Be very surprised if this is overturned and won by Wally Buono.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. BC will be charged with their first timeout.
So the punt team remains on the field for Wally Buono here in the first minute of the fourth quarter. Roy Finch back. Leone drives that one. Finch back to his 20. 53-yard punt, but returnable. And look at Finch with a spin up to the 43-yard line, but a flag on the play. After the big punt, we'll sort it out when we come back. Into the fourth quarter, Bo Levi Mitchell under 14 minutes away from another trip to the Grey Cup. Edmonton tried to stage a big second half rally earlier today. Ottawa held them off there in the Grey Cup. BC's made a little noise in the second half, but Calgary looks like they're in control. Kamar Jordan, another catch up near midfield. Taken down by Mike Edom.
Yeah, that was a bust, and Kamar Jordan put his hand up right as he left the line of scrimmage. Busting the coverage from BC, and he knows he's going to be open. Right from here, he sees the open area back in there. You don't see him. Yeah, that's Bakari Grant. There's Kamar Jordan, number 88. And he puts his hand up saying, hey, they're trying to cover me with the safety, Mike Edom, all the way from the middle of the field. That's not going to happen. A 28-yard gain for Jordan.
Handed off to Finch. Right side, and he gets through the first wave and down to the 30. Flag on the play at midfield. You know, Milt Stegall mentioned that fresh legs were obvious today, and Roy Finch showing you fresh legs on that dance.
It is a great example of it, and the difference between a well-rested team with fresh legs. And watch Solomon Elimimian try and track him down and lose the angle. You just don't see that from Elimimian.
Number 50, 10-yard penalty after the first down. But
they've been, this defense for BC on the field.
Well, the illegal block against Spencer Wilson. After the first down, they take it to midfield. So 1st and 10 right at midfield. So a 12-yard run prior to the penalty, credited to Finch. But again, those big guys up front have got the job done. The run offense is working. Bo Levi Mitchell's had plenty of time, and Jerome Messam has 5 more.
One of the storylines coming in was in the 2 games these two teams played early in the year. One, the Lions won, the first one of the regular season. A few weeks later, going to overtime. They got to Bo Levi Mitchell. We started the game telling that storyline that 7 sacks of 8 in the first half of the season against Mitchell came against the Lions. They have not got to Mitchell in this game this afternoon. That old line has shut it down. They can't get pressure unless they send the house.
2nd and 5. Short drop, pressure on there, but they swing it out. And Messam's got another Calgary first down. And with each one, they get a little closer to the big game in Toronto.
Well, and then what it forces a defense to do, Chris, is to send more linebackers, send guys from the secondary, and then when you do that, now it's up to Mitchell to recognize he doesn't have them all blocked and just check it down. Check it down to either Jerome Messam, maybe a crosser for Markway McDaniel. And he recognizes that blitz as well as any quarterback in the league.
Messam up to 80 yards from scrimmage in the game. Rolling, and so is Messam. Messam.
When you get tired and fatigue starts kicking in, you can see the Lions kind of just walking around. It affects your tackling defensively. You don't get in the right position. You don't have bent knees. Nice hole there again by the O-line. It gets Messam in there. And if anyone can make himself small in the hole at 265, Jerome Messam can still pull that off, too.
Yeah, no offense to you, he's taller. Hold on. Okay.
6th different Stampeder to, or 6th Stampeder to win the rushing title in 9 years. John Corbett did it multiple times. Finch in for Messam. And he is cooking. Another first down run.
Shane Bergman, you mentioned him early. Derek Dennis. And it's starting to just, again, a tired defensive team, a tired BC Lion team. Watch 60 and 64 just take care of their man, open up a hole. Rob Cote, I mentioned earlier in the game, he gets involved in the blocking scheme as well.
This against the stingiest defense through the regular season. Overall, number 2 against the run. Finch again, look at him dart. Brings the tackle. Purefoyle tops him down. But it's another Calgary first down.
The legs come out from under you when you're tired and fatigue's kicked in and you're trying to make a tackle, even on a small player. Roy Finch may be small, but he's powerful, strong legs. That's on him, big hit. Just the legs give out. Now you're trying to hard tackle. And it's not going to work at this level.
Well, they do bring out the chains to confirm that Finch got the necessary yardage. Looks like he's going to come up a few chain links short.
Dave Dickinson doing the play calling. Can feel it. His offensive line has run the line of scrimmage all game long, but really now starting to impose their will, and he's staying on the ground. Grinding down the clock. Jerome Messam, change of pace, Roy Finch. Hey, if they can't stop it, you're just going to keep pounding it.
That's out of the Mike Pringle playbook.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to bring back nightmares.
I just twitched.
2nd and inches. Messam first down. That's the 6th first down on this clock-chewing drive.
Looked like Derek Dennis favoring
Brad Erdos shaken up.
So Dennis was limping and Erdos is still down.
Cam Thorne will check in, and while Erdos gets attention, we'll step out. iHeartRadio is available now over 200 stations of free streaming music. Download the app today. Erdos help to the sidelines. Cam Thorne is in. Brad's just thinking, I got to be ready for next Sunday. Cam Thorne had 4 game starts this year. Again, so many changes necessary in the O-line. Fake to Messam. They swing it to Durant. Touchdown. Lamar Durant open the scoring, and he's got another major score.
Well, the Lions have been a step behind all game long. Another example of it on the play action. After having the ball basically run down Main Street, this entire drive, which has taken up almost 5 minutes in this 4th quarter with the run, they go with play action. And again, BC Lions in a chase position. That's Chandler Fenner this time, but it's been the entire team. The Calgary Stampeders to this point in the game have had almost 9 minutes more of time of possession. When you're the BC Lions defensively, that's like 9 hours.
13 of 18 regular season games over 30. Rene Paredes puts it through, and they hit 39.
Victor, I told you I'll give you a shout out, baby. About to do this thing. Ready to go to Grey Cup, baby. Let's go.
Guy from the Vancouver area has had a big day. Couple of touchdowns and a slam dunk here at McMahon. Fifth consecutive Western Final for the Calgary Stampeders. The winner's circle in their sight. 8:08 to go. Last year in the semifinal, 37-9, 39-7 here. As Rainey takes off. Flag comes down as Rainey is stopped around the 34-yard line. Tackle made by Adam Tebow.
He's going to push this back, another illegal block.
During the return, holding, BC number 53, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That puts the Lions at about 100 yards in penalties in this one against the best team in the league. And that last drive over 5 minutes, it was 9 plays, 85 yards, 5:45 to be exact. And they just kept running the ball right down the middle. And the change of pace from Jerome Messam to Roy Finch. Final play to cap it off on the play action to Lamar Durant.
Well, that penalty against Bazzi backs them up to their own 7. Long field. Just once this year they've driven from inside their 20 for a touchdown. And little dump pass to Jeremiah Johnson, enveloped by Glenn Love, who's had a big afternoon against his old team. Brad Erdos first to the hot water in the showers here and under his own power, so you hope that's a good sign for next week.
It'll be the cold tub. And hopefully he's good to go in the Grey Cup.
Pressure on, look out. Back he goes. Do they rule? No. They'll rule him at the 1. Cordero Law has his second sack.
It's over for you.
I had a great conversation with Dickinson about Cordero Law coming back from the NFL. His time with the San Diego Chargers was a great rush in here in Calgary before he left. And I said, you know, to Dave Dickinson, interesting that he just didn't come back from the NFL and go back in the starting lineup. And Dickinson said, no, as you know, you've got to earn your spot back, get back and earn your playing time. And he said that Cordero Law played great on the teams while the designated import on special teams. And he said, the guy made our special teams better, and he earned the start.
Nice punt for Leone. Line drive, 44-yard punt. And Finch brings it back to the 35-yard line. So Bo Levi Mitchell's day is done. Hat on. And we'll next see him at BMO Field.
Just remarkable. His winning percentage, we showed you off the top. 47 of first 51 games in the win column. He's now 3-1 in the playoffs. Only playoff loss last year to Edmonton.
So the Maytag repairman comes in. Drew Tate doesn't get much action with Bo Levi Mitchell as the starting quarterback. Rob Cote a carry there. Drew Tate did get a start in Montreal a couple of weeks back. But Mitchell goes almost wire to wire every game.
Might be it for Jerome Messam, too.
And this is troubling news. Now Cam Thorne, who came in to replace Brad Erdos, has been shaken up as well. And Quinn Smith, as we've seen a few times this year, has to make a change from number 90 as a defensive lineman. And that's a tough fit to get the offensive line number on. But he's a double threat his own way.
And I can't emphasize enough how important for Dickinson is when he's balancing the roster to have a guy like Quinn Smith that can do that, can play D-line and go in the rotation or be there as a backup if necessary and needed due to injury, and then also switch to offense. It means he can change the ratio, can put another Canadian on somewhere else.
Boy, every storyline for Calgary has continued in this game. How effective they are on offense, how they play shutdown defense. But unfortunately for Dave Dickinson, the storyline of an injury-plagued offensive line is also emerging here in the fourth quarter. Well, what an amazing year for Bo Levi Mitchell, 15-1-1. They'll be 3-1 in the playoffs. He's won a Grey Cup. We asked him about thinking about his legacy in this league.
have thought about it. It's obviously a goal I do want to accomplish, but it's not for me or my legacy. It's for my team. You know, I want to do this for the White Horse. I want to do this for those coaches for the coaches and their families that their families allow them to spend as much time as they do away, you know, from the kids and everything, and putting the time they put in to make sure that we can be successful.
Been riding that White Horse this year, hasn't he?
Leads the league in touchdown passes. 32 touchdowns coming in to just 8 interceptions.
Well, I heard a suggestion that he should be a unanimous winner of the MOP, and I'm not sure I'd ever heard that before. Anybody, I guess in the Doug Flutie days, maybe, but it shows you how dominant he's been.
And that's no disrespect to Ernest Jackson. No, he's had a tremendous year and will be in the Grey Cup Championship next Sunday. But he's the MOP, and it should be unanimous.
Second down, Tate hands it off to Cote, and the kid from Conference going to get some time in the last 5 minutes.
Been a great season for the BC Lions, too. It won't end the way they want it to. Wally Buono goes back to the sideline after taking the GM role. Said in the press conference before Winnipeg that as long as he's still involved with the game and the team, he's got to do both. They found a great young quarterback in Jonathan Jennings, who I still think and still believe is just scratching the surface. I don't think we've seen near what he's capable of, and it's been pretty impressive. One of just 4 quarterbacks over 5,000 in Lion history.
Cote again with a flag on the play.
Holding, Calgary number 64. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
So the decision desk has ruled next Sunday. It will be the Stampeders and the Red Blacks kicking off in the 104th Grey Cup presented by Shaw. Biggest party of the year, and the countdown to kickoff begins at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 Pacific. Extended Grey Cup pregame coverage beginning at 1 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.
We showed you that graphic on John Hufnagel back to 2008, his first year returning. And Henry Burris was his quarterback in that championship. Henry Burris will be back as the opposition up against Bo Levi Mitchell.
So you're saying there's a storyline?
You think there'll be a few. And hey, maybe a motivated Ernest Jackson, who just heard everyone say there's your unanimous choice for MOP, saying, hey, I'm going to go and contribute on Sunday and see if he can help his team upset Calgary, because they will be favored.
Cote again. And it will be third down. Perfect at home this year. Fans in Calgary have come to McMahon for 9 regular season games and 1 playoff game, and are going to go home watching their team having won every one of them.
General Manager John Hufnagel might be going back to his rosters here and taking a look at O-line just to be sure going into this final week and the Grey Cup week. But they'll figure it out. They've done it all season long, and that's one thing, and one of the reasons they're here and have won 15 games. They have the answer before they are asked the question.
Paredes puts it through, and they're into the 40s. 5th time this year the Stampeders have scored more than 40 in a game. In control, and they're on their way to the 2016 Grey Cup. Two years ago, the Calgary Stampeders in convincing fashion with John Cornish running wild, beat the Edmonton Eskimos to qualify for the Grey Cup. A touchdown catch in that game for Eric Rogers. If the Lions had have won today, it would have been the 4th different Western team in the Grey Cup in 4 years. There's Jackson, and he gets tossed down by Malik Harris. That'll be a Horse collar tackle, penalty tacked on.
Well, it's just the balance. It's just all three
Major
phases.
foul, horse collar tackle. Calgary number 37, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's Calgary Stampeder team, solid on defense. Number 1 ranked against the run, number 3 against the pass when you're talking yards per game. There's the Western Division Conference trophy. Ottawa didn't touch theirs.
Into the flop, Johnson the catch, and Ciante Evans arrives.
The Calgary Stampeders, of course, tied Ottawa. That was their one tie of the season.
Terrific overtime game, and then in the rematch, all Stampeders, in fact, the 48 points, their season high, unless they've got another touchdown in them here today. 2nd and 4 for Jennings. And he's got an open man and a catch made by Sean Gore. First time we've called his name today. A terrific season for Gore, the number 3 Canadian target receiver in the CFL this year.
Some of the storylines for BC coming in, Manny Arsenal's ankle, that wasn't the reason for it. Decision making at times for Jonathan Jennings because he's so young, that wasn't the reason for this. It was because they're playing against the best team in the league.
Still a ways to go, isn't it? Iannuzzi a catch, upended by Evans. But until today, the BC Lions were as exciting a football team as any this year, week in and week out.
And Wally Buono has already said he will be back next year.
Johnson got Rainey. Chris Rainey to the cone. And are they going to mark? Yes, touchdown. Chris Rainey has a major for the Lions.
Well, this is a little playing for pride at the end. You just keep playing as hard as you can if you're a BC Lion.
Gets the pylon before touching out of bounds.
Talk about exciting players to watch. Not many in this game more exciting than that guy right there all season long. He's been the get you up out of your seat player for this team.
So go for 2. One time. And incomplete. Johnson couldn't reel it in. And they go down to the sidelines to get involved in the celebration.
Now they've had that succession plan in place for some time. Remember, it was 2008 that John Hufnagel came back. Dave Dickinson started as a running backs coach, went to quarterbacks, then coordinator. And this has been maybe one of, if not the best season, and maybe the best team in a long, long time in this league.
I misspoke earlier. Dave Dickinson trying to become the second man to win Coach of the Year, quarterback Coach of the Year, and Grey Cup champion in the same year. Ron Lancaster did it. Now Dave Dickinson poised to do it. A heavy favorite to win Coach of the Year.
And that's what I meant about having the answer before the questions. When John Hufnagel was getting ready to move upstairs and just become the GM, he had his plan in place well before that moment, that time. Years before. It was a couple of years where Dickinson was asked, you know, when are you taking over as the head coach? And Hufnagel moving upstairs and said, in due time, when he was ready. And boy, has he been ready? He's ready.
A little bit different style, but the same results. Leone punches it downfield. No short kick for the Lions. And Finch just goes down across the 20.
Yeah, good idea. No need to take a hit there.
81 seconds remaining. Andrew Buckley's going to get a chance to finish off here. The University of Calgary product, again, as Glenn mentioned earlier. The Dinos going to another Vanier Cup against Laval. And the rookie quarterback, Buckley, to finish up here. That Creighton Trophy winner. And a guy that Dave Dickinson believes can be a quarterback in this league. And they're just going to take a knee a couple of times and run it down, and don't want any more injuries. Losing first Erdos and then Cam Thorne, so no need to push the issue with the score the way it reads. I don't think I've ever seen victory formation with over a minute to go.
Not here.
And now the punt team comes on.
Great crowd tonight, too. Big crowd, as loud as I've heard it here in Calgary.
Well, it's interesting because I think it was Sullivan Aluminium yesterday said this crowd can get as loud as any in the league. And we don't often mention that, but it has been a terrific crowd today, one of the biggest Western Final crowds we've seen at McMahon. Felt a little like Labor Day early on, the weather being the way it was, and Dave Dickens has already started the family celebration.
Time count violation. Calgary number 6. 10-yard penalty. Remains third down. Procedure, Calgary number 49. After the goal, remains third down.
These stamps got to work on their execution suits.
But is that the second penalty of the game for Calgary?
Timer, could you please reset the game clock to 35 seconds?
That first half, they did not have the penalty.
35 seconds, please.
Ended up with 9, in all honesty, but it's a great young player, Jonathan Jennings. They can build around him for the future.
Maver going to concede as he tries to work off some time.
Clock is supposed to be reset.
Apparently the officials weren't happy with the time on the clock. They're going to reset.
They have to keep it official, but I think they can run these 33 seconds down.
Let it roll, guys.
Hand the trophy over. Whether Calgary wants to touch the trophy remains to be seen. How they handle that. But the great season continues here in Alberta for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, it's amazing. Wally Guano had 4 different teams that won over 14 games and didn't win the cup. This team has got a chance with a 15-win season. Our Nissan Titan player of the game brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
He was asked numerous times if he was concerned that they'd be rusty. I believe that Mitchell was not rusty. He was bang on, as he's been all year. He's the MOP in the league and led Calgary once again some real long drives. Over 90-yard drives that finished in points. Just demoralized the BC defense. He's our Nissan Titan player of the game.
He said, yeah, we were a little rusty the first day of practice. I missed a couple of throws. After that, we felt good. And they were back to LaBella out of the backfield. And Rolly rolls up over the 52-yard line. Closing time at McMahon. Complete. Sinfield is down. This game's over. It was a stampede, and it will be Calgary against Ottawa in the 2016 Grey Cup. Season, best in the West. And now, one more game for Calgary to try and become best in the nation.
41 days since they clinched. Had time to self-scout, put together a bunch new formations offensively. But this Calgary team has balanced all three phases. Dominated from start to finish.
Nice shot there. Dave Dickinson conferring with Jonathan Jennings. Adam Big Hill's defense just didn't have an answer today.
And if there's, I know there's times when the team that won the division did not win the final, but that debate over rest and rust. I'll take rest and a chance to self-scout every day.
Let's go down to the field. Here's Sarah with Bo Levi Mitchell.
Well, for the second time in 3 years, you're quarterbacking a team to the Grey Cup. How is this one different?
Oh, man. Honestly, I love the group we have in here. I mean, 14 was a special year, but we know we had something very special with this football team, and it's all around. There's not very many holes in this team. We're just such a true family. Fans keep coming out, supporting us really loud. Hope to see them in Toronto. Man, we have a job. We have a job to finish.
How focused were you today coming into this game to get off to a good start?
Oh man, I was focused to come out here and just keep proving people wrong. I know there was a lot of people picking us to win, but it's still the questions and naysayers, and I know it's got to create stories, but that's what we use as our motivation. We were looking to go hold that Grey Cup over our head next week, but it's going to take a long, hard week of work, and good preparation because the Red Blacks are a good team, so it's going to be tough.
What makes this group special?
Man, honestly, it starts with Dave and the way that he creates family with everybody here. Like, we honestly, truly feel like we're family. We talk trash to each other all day. Everybody talks it back. Nobody gets mad. I mean, we all feel like brothers, and it's a great feeling when everybody in your locker room wants to play for each other.
Well, congratulations, and we'll see you at the Grey Cup.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chris?
Sarah Bo mentioning Dave Dickinson, who yesterday said, we just have to be the team we've been all year. They were that today.
Well, and I'm showing you Jamar Wall here walking off wearing 31 for Mylan Hicks. Their fallen teammate was in that incident in the nightclub and killed. And that was mid-season. They had to come together as a family. You heard Bo Levi Mitchell talk about it. Wall had an interception for a touchdown in this game at the end of the first half. So very emotional season for this Calgary Stampeder. They have one more step to go.
Here's Sarah with Markway McDaniel.
Markway, how does it feel to be going back to another Grey Cup?
Man, it feels good. I was just telling guys, we was just there in 14, but it seemed so long ago. And then after last year, man, we wanted to get back to this spot, and hey, we're going back, but we won't be satisfied unless we get that win.
This team has been so dominant throughout the regular season and led, obviously, by Bo Levi Mitchell. What can you say about the job that he has done at quarterback this season?
Man, what can you say other than he's been great? Bo put in a lot of work this offseason, and you can see it. I saw it in training camp, and a lot of people weren't talking about him earlier in the season. They were talking about other quarterbacks, which you know, you respect that. But I saw something different this year in Bo, and man, he's carrying us. And got to give credit to our coaches too, man. They give us a great game plan every week.
What was said by the group heading into this game, because it was a dominant performance from start to finish?
Well, we felt good. We were fresh. A lot of people were talking about, well, did we get too much rest, man? As a veteran team, you need that rest. So we came back, went to work, and we told each other, man, we're not walking off this field with a loss. It's not happening, and that's going to be the same thing next week. We're not walking off that field without a loss.
Well, congratulations. We'll let you go celebrate.
All right, thank you.
Chris, back to you.
Sarah, one of the great pros in this league, Markway McDaniel, second postseason 100-yard reception game and a 42-15 Calgary Stampeder Western final victory. Now let's head to Ottawa and join the panel.
Thank you, Chris. The light's still on here at TD Place after Ottawa's victory in the East Final to meet. We find out, of course, the Calgary Stampeders, the best team in the Canadian Football League in the regular season, looking like the best team in the Canadian Football League, very much so still. Ottawa will be an underdog heading into Grey Cup 104 next week in Toronto. The panel, Jock Climbing, Milt Stiegel, and Chris Schultz. I mean, the guys talked about it. Maybe they were motivated by it. I still think it was a reasonable question with all that time off and having seen them, can they get their focus again? It was never a question about their ability, never that, but just to have that much rest. Obviously, they're right, not a factor at all. They were great right from the get-go.
I love those two interviews we just heard. I mean, we are talking about arguably the most dominant or second most dominant team in CFL history, and two of their stars are interviewed, and they talk about how they're being disrespected. We got Markway saying no one's talking about our quarterback at the beginning of the season. We got Mitchell saying, oh, there's still doubters out there. We got guys, I got news for you, okay? You're about to get a week of nothing but the Calgary Stampeders are the greatest, most dominant football team of all time. And if you need to feel slighted and disrespected in order to get yourself up and get yourself ready to play, it's going to be a hard week for you.
It's not going to happen.
Because that's what you're going to hear every day, all day, until Grey Cup Sunday.
Dominant team, dominant. And it started, you know, on their first drive of the game, and that second quarter, they just took the game over 32-0. Game was pretty much over. I mean, that's what dominant teams do. They could have got 6 months off, 6 years off. It wouldn't have mattered. They would have came out and did the same thing because they're the best team from top to bottom. Amazing game. It wasn't an entertaining game. We'd have liked to see like this first game, but the Calgary Stampeders, they don't care. They put their foot on the pedal, and they never let off, and that's why they're in the Grey Cup.
And for the BC Lions, it was the exact opposite. It really was. I mean, you're down 32-0 at the end of the first half. The players are going to second-guess themselves and whether they were truly prepared for this challenge. The coaches will second-guess whether they really prepared the team for this type of game. And it kind of taints the entire offseason, guys. Honestly, when you lose the last game of the year, the way the BC Lions lost this game, it's just you go one or two ways. It either motivates you.
It's easier though, Schultze. Like having lost some East Finals, I'd much rather get blown out than those last second losses still haunt me to this day. The one time we got blown out back in '96, I don't even think about that.
And I'll say they were prepared. They just weren't good enough in this game. I won't say they weren't prepared. I'm for sure their coaches spent countless hours preparing for this game, but Calgary Stampeders were just a better team.
And you talk about the coaches. You know, that's something that maybe we don't spend enough time talking about, and this game is a perfect example of that. Their schemes just make everything look so easy, and obviously having the right players in the right positions helps. But if you look at how Bo Levi Mitchell, it doesn't matter who he's got in on that offensive line this year. He's got time to throw.
And I'm going to throw now to Sarah Orleski, standing by now with the presentation of the West Division Trophy to the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, after a dominant regular season, another dominant win today for the Calgary Stampeders, the West Division champions. Congratulations to Calgary, and I will pass things over to the CFL chairman, Jim Lawson, for the trophy presentation.
Thank you, Sarah. First of all, congratulations to BC Lions for a great season. Secondly, wow, undefeated here at McMahon. Great season, great fans today. And congratulations. It's my great honor to present the Western Trophy to Coach Dickinson. First year coach, wow, it doesn't get any better than that. Congratulations. Congrats.
Yeah, baby, let's go!
Yes, sir. So I'm joined by Dave Dickinson, and Dave, for you, you've been to the Grey Cup, obviously one as a player, as a coordinator. What is it like, though, to be heading to the Grey Cup as a first-year head coach?
Proud of our guys. I thought we played a real good game. I think a lot of people were saying we were going to come out flat and not have our same spark. Our guys are ready to play. Now, we got a big challenge, but I believe in them, and I felt like we had a good plan, and we did, and our guys executed. It was a great win.
What stood out most to you about this group today?
Well, first off, what stood out was the fans. Wow, that was a loud crowd. Thank you, boys. Thank you, ladies. No, what stood out, everyone played a part. You know, we got, in my opinion, the best player in the league. He shows up. And then, Roy Finch, Lamar Durant, Alex Singleton, Micah Johnson. We just have many guys. Maybe you don't know them all, but you're getting to know them. Great win for our team, and we're excited to go to Toronto.
You will face Ottawa in the Grey Cup. How soon do your preparations begin?
Well, I mean, as coaches, we've already looked ahead. We just have to do it. We're going to celebrate this one, make sure our boys stay out of trouble tonight, and get back to work in the morning.
I loved your advice, too. Do not break the trophy.
Well, that's happened to me in the past, so more the cup, though, so I hope we get a chance to lift that one.
Congratulations, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Suits, a final word before we head to Toronto?
Well, I agree with Jacques Clammy, who said that this is the best team or one of the best teams in CFL history. They're great on all three phases, well coached, and will be favored on paper going into the Grey Cup week against the Ottawa Red Blacks. But you don't play the game on paper. You play it on the field. Should be a great Grey Cup week.
This year they won 14 in a row. They went unbeaten in 16, now 16, 2-1, on pace for one of the greatest seasons in CFL history. Only the Ottawa Red Blacks are left in their way, and they will meet in the 2016 Grey Cup Championship next Sunday at BMO. We will see you there. Until now, and then so long from Calgary.
Welcome to SportsCenter. I'm Lindsay Hamilton. Well, the CFL panel is standing by to break down all of Sunday's CFL action. But first, let's get you to the highlights. And we begin with the Eastern Final, the Eskies and Red Blacks from snowy Ottawa. It's a rematch of last season's Grey Cup that Edmonton won 26-20, and a lot of snow in this one, up to 25 centimeters expected to fall in the nation's capital. And it looks pretty chilly to the first quarter. After starting running back Moses Madu got injured on the opening series, Winnipeg native Keenan LaFrance stepped in, and he busts off a big 27-yard run. He had 105 yards in the half, off to a good start. 2 plays later, Henry Burris finds Greg Ellingson in the end zone. That's good for a 26-yard strike. Ellington celebrating with a snow angel. It's 9-0 Red Blacks. Ottawa outgained Edmonton 133-35 in the first, and the dominance continued in the second.
Edmonton 24-yard line, close to the red zone. Looking end zone. Oh, it's caught. Touchdown, Khalil Payton.
Burris to Khalil Payton for the 24-yard score. The Red Blacks also getting the 2-point conversion there, and Ottawa's up 17-3 at the half. Now, before the third quarter could start, check this out. The sidelines and yard markers had to be repainted, but the paint machine broke, so the ground crew paints it by hand. That's Canadian football for you. Play resumed, and after an Eskies 2-and-out, Edmonton punting the ball with a couple players onside.
Shaw, 2 players onside. The kick into the arms of Jackson. Look out here. Tristan Jackson is going to go. Tristan Jackson down to the 10 is going to score. It's a touchdown.
The onside punt backfires as Tristan Jackson goes 76 yards on the return. Ottawa with another 2-point conversion there, and the Red Blacks are up 25-3. Early in the fourth, now 25-10. Burris looking to sneak the ball on 2nd and inches. But he fumbles it. And Edmonton recovers, takes over the Ottawa 37-yard line. Eek, not good. Now 2nd and 9 on the 18. Mike Riley finds Chris Getzlaff over the middle for the touchdown. Just like that, it's an 8-point game. Then on the ensuing kickoff.
Touchdown strength. Ball security is such an issue right now. Khalil Payton. And down goes the ball again. The Eskimos have it.
Payton fumbles the kickoff, and the Eskies recover. Now, after 2 incompletions, Edmonton going for it on 3rd down, and Riley can't find a receiver. It's a turnover on downs. Later on, after an Ottawa field goal, Edmonton facing the 3rd and 5. Riley looking deep and finds a wide open Adarius Bowman. He goes 57 yards to the end zone, and just like that, it's a 5-point game. Ottawa decides to give it to LaFrance to run out the clock. He takes off up the middle, hurdles the defender, and picks up 17 yards. And it may be snowy, but he's still able to hurdle. Then 2 plays later, it's LaFrance again. He takes it 20 yards to the house. That's good for his first career rushing touchdown. And he finished with 157 yards on the ground, including 42 on the final drive alone. So just like that, Ottawa wins the East Final for the 2nd straight year, but they decide not to touch the trophy in this one. So your final 35-23, and Ottawa will play in back-to-back Grey Cup games for the first time since 1968-69. The Red Blacks winning all 3 games against the Eskies this season, and some home advantage. The home team has won 7 of the last 9 Eastern Finals. And now let's hear from Coach Rick Campbell on not touching that trophy.
We're not touching it this time. We got 1 more to go. Thank you to our nation. I'll never get tired of doing this. This is a special day for us and our fans and everybody at OSEG, and just thrilled.
Before that final drive, when we were all on the sideline and Coach Elizondo got the whole entire offense together, and he said nothing else matters what happened, prior to this moment. He was like, if we call ourselves the best offense, which I know we are, we will run this clock down and we will take a knee and finish this game out.
I was really happy and just really emotional, so I was probably acting the fool, but it was a special moment.
There's one thing that Rick Campbell was saying, that at any moment.
So the Red Blacks took it, and of course a big win from the Stamps today. So it's the Stamps and Red Blacks from BMO Field in Toronto. Coverage begins 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific across the TSN network next week. And for more on the matchup, let's throw it off to James Duffy.
Thank you. They had much different regular seasons. One a losing record, the other one of the best regular seasons ever in the CFL. But they end up in the same place, Toronto, next weekend in the Grey Cup game. Yes, sunshine and dominance in Calgary, snowstorm and survival in the nation's capital. Much different settings, much different storylines, but the 2 division winners during the regular season get it done, and the Grey Cup showdown remains East versus West. We begin our analysis with Rod Smith and the panel.
And James, these 2 teams have something else in common. Their uniform colors, they both have red, they both have black, and neither had a trace of rust in the division finals on this day. Panel Jock Climby, Milt Stiegel, and Chris Schultz. I'll admit it, I was one who thought Calgary might be slow out of the gate. Sure, they're the best team in the CFL. They proved that all season long, but it had been so long, Jock, since they'd played a meaningful game, and yet they were dominant right from the get-go.
Yeah, I thought it would take them a quarter and a half. It took them a second and a half, and that's what you do when you're a good football team. But once again, what strikes me about the Stampeders is their depth. They've got guys who fall in the category of where did they find him? Like Tavares Daniels up for the Rookie of the Year. He had a dominant performance at receiver. And Roy Finch. I mean, this was a guy who was here in Ottawa for a cup of coffee a couple of years ago, disappears, comes back, and is now one of the best returners in the game. And he had a huge, huge outing for the Stamps.
Best team from top to bottom. You start with their GM/president, John Huffnagel. You go to their head coach, Dave Dickinson. Then you go to their quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell. And everyone on that team, they understand their role. They don't care if Bo Levi Mitchell gets all the credit. They're just trying to win games. Everyone stays in their lane, and that's why they are the best team in the CFL.
And for the BC Lions, no doubt about it, this was a tragic loss. I mean, it was 32-0 at the end of the first half. They will second-guess themselves as players and coaches as to whether they were truly prepared, and it will taint the entire off season. It was a bad loss for the BC Lions.
Earlier in the day, here in the snow in Ottawa, we were assured there'll be no repeat Grey Cup champion. Edmonton losing to Ottawa. Both had to deal with bad elements. Schultz, just looked like the Red Blacks did a much better job of handling it.
And it looked like Henry Burris did a magnificent job of handling the elements. Trust me, out behind us, it was rough. It was cold. It was windy. It was rainy sometimes. And then the snow started, and it seemed like it would never end. Henry's going to his 4th Grey Cup appearance. Give him credit. He handled the elements very well.
Jerron Kreiner, and Keenan LaFrance. You ask who are they? I don't know. No one knew who they were before this game, but everyone knows who they are now. And the reason they stepped on the field, because of injuries, but they took full advantage of their opportunity. Big reason why these Ottawa Red Blacks are going to the Grey Cup.
Let me give you another big reason. They stayed aggressive offensively. How many times have we seen teams in this league, once they get a lead, they just start hand the ball off, punt, and just hope that they can hang in? They didn't do that in this game. Red Blacks have been guilty of that in the past. They stayed aggressive. Burris kept pushing the ball down the football field, and at the end of the day, that's what won them the game, because Edmonton actually wasn't able to have an answer to that passing game.
So now leads us to thoughts about this Grey Cup 104. Now, the Stampeders are the worthy favorites in the game. That said, there were only 3 times this season that they didn't win, and one of them was here in a 26-26 tie with Ottawa.
Yeah, well, Ottawa's obviously in tough. They're not going to get 156 yards in the ground with Keenan LaFrance against this team. They got to find a way to win throwing the football.
Henry Burris needs to have the game of his life. If he can do that, they have an opportunity.
For both teams, don't believe the hype. Calgary, don't believe you're that good, so to speak, and you're going to dominate Ottawa. In Ottawa, use the underdog role to your advantage.
You know, I'm got to give you some little history lesson here, whether you want it or not. 3rd matchup ever between Calgary and Ottawa in the Grey Cup. 1948, Normie Kwong, 18 years of age with the Stampeders. 1968, Russ Jackson leading the way in a victory for the old Ottawa Rough Riders. So this is the 3rd one. They split the other 2. Call it the historical rubber match, James.
All right, thank you, Rod. More now from our CFL insider, Dave Naylor. Let's start here in Ottawa. Not taking anything away from the way they played, because they were terrific, but did the weather end up favoring the Red Blacks?
Yeah, I think it did, as much as the Eskimos the day before the game, when they were asked about the forecast, said, hey, we're from Edmonton. We're not worried about the weather. Certainly, when I talked to Brian Shue, the offensive line coach of the Ottawa Red Blacks, he felt like the defensive line of the Edmonton Eskimos, which was really a dominant part of their team, with Marcus Howard, Eddie Steele, Odell Willis, Armando Sewell, they were not able to get the push up front. And you saw it. Only 1 sack in the day against Henry Burris. He had time to throw. And one of the areas the Red Blacks really had an advantage all game long over Edmonton was 1st down yardage. They were not in 2nd and long very often, and really Brian Shue felt like the weather was the sort of equalizer on that Edmonton defensive line.
With the Eskimos' loss, have we seen the last of Darrell Walker in the CFL?
Yeah, we have. Darrell Walker led the Eskimos today, 6 catches for 96 yards, 2 fantastic years in the CFL. He was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago in just 12 games, 2nd in the league this year with over 1,500. He would have liked to make it 2 years, 2 great seasons, and 2 Grey Cup rings, but he will likely move on to the National Football League with falling just short on the field today.
And it will be another year where the Western team will be favored in the Grey Cup, and justifiably so.
Yeah, there's been few years where we've seen the West as dominant overall in the East as we did this year. From August 1st on through the end of the schedule, Western teams head-to-head 25-5 against the East. And of course, we know Ottawa and Calgary, 1 game a tie, another one a blowout in Week 13 at Calgary in Calgary's favor.
Red Blacks won't mind that underdog position. They also would like maybe some more snow in Toronto next week. It can be the great equalizer, and they were just fantastic in it today.
Thanks, gentlemen. Coming up next, more on the Stamps' historic season.